You thought it would never happen, but it is. We're starting a little early.
The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Or even over, too.
The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
Oh.
That's why I'm on the show. Because I don't watch it. I'm part of it. So I shouldn't be watching it.
The show.
This show's a bad influence on me.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad it's a bad influence on you.
Except
Baron?
you, Phil.
What, Baron?
What?
Cash, Baron. Just remember. Just remember one specific thing.
What?
Respect my authority! Respect my authority! Easy, man. Screw you guys. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to this edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk here on this Sunday, along with Baron Orman Tagge and Cash Money 007. I am your host, Mike, and this afternoon we have several gaming stories to go through. Of course, we're going to be talking about Rachel Zegler and Snow White, and we're also going to be talking about the passing of Matthew Perry yesterday, and also Night Court actor Richard Mall.
Oh, that one hurt.
Yeah, definitely. But first, I want to say good morning to T-Gab Steve, who says previously on Beverly Hills 414.
Oh, they're back from their hiatus. Good. What's the new episode? I'm sitting back now.
Mike was in quite the quandary as he had decided to contest the ticket from Officer Donut, and the clerk behind the counter at the fines department was indeed rather cute.
Ooh, oh my.
Was she flirting with him? She had even laughed at his joke about seeing why they call it the fine department. Or was she attempting to entrap him into attempting to bribe an officer?
It's like the Buster Bar girl all over again.
And if so, was it worth it to do so? Well, I mean, you know, it depends, Steve. It depends. Crypto had been too cheap to spring for a taxi to get back, so he started walking. A large gray van pulled up and asked him if he wanted a ride.
Ooh.
Wouldn't I be taking an Uber? I don't. Well, if we're in the 90s,
you're too cheap.
I don't think so.
He wasn't sure till the driver said, "I've got extra tacos." Well, free tacos. Who could pass that up? So he jumped in the van with Mr. M, and they were off. Little did Crypto know he had just walked right into the clever trap of his arch nemesis. He had fallen for the oldest of blunders, the free taco entrapment maneuver. Baron had just finished off a half package of Thin Mints he found laying on the counter when he found the note. Game on, lover. XOXO. A depiction of two cherries dipped in chocolate was the signature.
Oh my.
He knew that stamp anywhere. It can only be the sign of his once nemesis and 4 times ex-girlfriend, Baroness von Bonbon. But she had died in Prague when her bra burst in the helicopter, hadn't she?
I swore she did.
Will Mike get the cute traffic clerk's number and maybe a date, or will he be slapped in irons for attempting to bribe an officer? Can Crypto see through the ruse of Mr. M and realize that when the man speaks about playing cornhole, he's not talking about a beanbag toss game?
Oh my.
Will Baron be able to match wits once again against the cunning intellect of the Baroness? And does she still have that killer rack?
Literally.
Stay tuned for today's episode of Beverly Hills 414 after these messages.
You might think everything is okay, but Disney is gonna get you. Kathleen Kennedy's gonna get you. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you.
I can't wait to see that. I cannot wait.
Oh,
This is
man.
this is an episode of South Park. It's been a long time where I haven't said that I have to see this one. Oh, I mean, I love South Park as it is, but I gotta see this.
Oh.
And I know we will.
It's
We
good.
will be.
It's
Yeah.
good. I'm not gonna be spoiling it, but it's good. It's good. And of course,
Oh, man.
we had somebody from North Bay. Jason Fox of 540 Studio. He's from North Bay, in case anybody didn't know.
Going into the season of no sun, so he'll be crawling into his coffin.
That's right.
Or
And
crawling
he
out of his
says-
coffin.
Cash Money was never fired.
That's right.
He wasn't.
Cash Money can put his change in my piggy bank any day.
And Big Daddy T-Gap says, don't know about his being fired, but he could be cornholed.
No. I don't think so, T-Cap. I don't think so.
And Jay says, Cash Money is daddy.
Yeah, that's just creepy.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of projection going on here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there is. And Big Daddy T-Gap says, store credit didn't do nothing. No, or nothing.
No, yeah. I didn't know I was from the South now.
You do nothing.
Nothing.
Nah.
And hello to Kathy Skywalker. Good morning to you.
Oh, hello.
And let's see, anyone else? No, but Kathy's saying hello to everybody who's in the chat. And let's
That's
see.
weird.
Big Daddy T-Gab is saying I usually make the next installment up during the morning or in the hour or two before the stream. Even I don't know where it'll go yet.
Ah. Wow.
In its half delusional state.
Mhm. And I do want to say good morning to Blazerhawk Darren. Good to see you. So, folks, this morning we have several articles to speak of. And one of those articles we'll be talking about. And this is going to be heavy game news for this particular episode because I do have 4 stories on gaming. One of them's about the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director teasing a big surprise. That's from
Ooh.
Bounding into Comics.
Mm.
We also have an article from GameSpot where Sony is defending PS Plus price hike.
Yeah.
Of course they would.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry. I needed to do this.
The hell you say?
Pretty much.
There we go. Mhm.
And of course, this affects all of us who are content creators. This news from Nintendo revealing new rules for content creators.
Yeah, that one is just ridiculous. Some of the things in there, like, okay. Especially about the gameplay, but we'll get into that soon.
I know I haven't read the article yet, but there's something I just have to say right now to Nintendo. I just gotta find it. There we go. Here it
I
is.
call bullshit.
There you go. Yeah.
And the other gaming news we have is about the Dark Forces remaster getting a release date.
Ooh, now I'm excited.
And we have 2 articles about Rachel Zegler, one saying that she's playing victim, claiming that she only received backlash for being outspoken.
Uh,
And the other about Disney's live-action Snow White, not to be confused with the Daily Wire's live-action Snow White,
I'm more
being
interested.
delayed for a year.
Yeah.
Oh no! Well, they
Daily Wire looks a lot better.
I just want them to be able to put that on YouTube and so on. So I hope they do.
Or something more accessible.
Yes.
We'll be talking about the passing of Night Court actor Richard Mole, and also yesterday's tragic news of Matthew Perry passing away. So, gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into some good news first. And we'll start off with the Star Wars Dark Forces remaster news.
Oh, I thought it was the character when he was fired. Okay.
Only Phil believes he was fired.
For him, that's good news for him. Okay. Ooh, I can't wait. This gets me all tingly here. This story.
Well, whether you played it on the PS1 or PS3 back in the day, I mean PC back in the day, you knew what I meant, Baron. You knew what I meant.
I mean, I played it on my Macintosh, and actually the graphics were better on the Macintosh because they had a better graphics system. It was beautiful. I love that game.
I still have my PS1 copy.
Ooh.
It's just that my PS1 that I have doesn't really work. But I'm keeping it anyway.
Yeah.
Fun but this. Oh yeah. That's the main reason why I'm keeping it. So this article was posted on the 24th. It's by Logan Moore, and it says Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster gets release date. The classic Star Wars first-person shooter makes its return in early 2024.
Ooh.
The much-anticipated remaster of Star Wars Dark Forces now has a release date. Back in September, Night Dive Studios announced that it would be remastering Dark Forces, which is the classic Star Wars first-person shooter originally launched back in 1995. Now, nearly after 30 years, Star Wars Dark Forces will be playable in a new manner when it arrives in the first months of 2024. Shared by Night Dive today via GameSpot, the developer announced that the Star Wars Dark Forces remaster will roll out on February 28th, 2024. Although the original game was only available on PC and PlayStation, this remaster will instead come to all modern platforms, which includes PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. For this version's improvements, the game will now feature 4K visuals and a frame rate that will go to 120 frames per second. On all platforms other than Switch, despite these big upgrades, though, Dark Forces will still play like the original did, keeping the experience intact for those that want it to still mirror its throwback format and mechanics.
Stop. I can only get so hard. Stop.
Okay, well, I got a clip to play for that.
Oh!
Well, but let's see, which one should it be? Let's see.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, don't call me Shirley.
It says, outside of being one of the first shooters ever set in the Star Wars universe, Dark Forces is also well known for being the original game to introduce protagonist Kyle Katarn. Following his appearance in Dark Forces, Katarn went on to star in a number of sequels that included Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Following Disney's acquisition of the Star Wars IP, Katarn became non-canon and has since become part of the Star Wars legends. Still, this hasn't prevented Katarn's popularity from dwindling over the years, especially for those who grew up playing the Jedi Knight series. To learn more about this forthcoming remaster, excuse me, of Star Wars Dark Forces has in store, you can find the official description below. which says Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster has been brought to life by the team at Night Dive Studios, fully remastered through its proprietary KEX engine, or KEX, allowing the game to run on modern gaming devices at up to 40K resolution at 120 frames per second. Returning players will enjoy Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster's upgraded gameplay, high resolution textures, enhanced lighting and rendering, and support for gamepads. The original 1995 Star Wars Dark Forces raised the bar for first person shooter games, offering players a significant degree excuse me, of movement and interactivity, a large section of items and power ups, and engaging environments. In the first Star Wars first person shooter video game, players assume the role of Kyle Katarn, a defector of the Galactic Empire turned mercenary for hire. Katam joins the Rebel Alliance Covert Operations Division, tasked with infiltrating the Galactic Empire, where he discovers the secret Dark Trooper project. The development of this powerful new series of Imperial battle droids and power armored stormtroopers stands to strengthen the Empire's grip on the galaxy unless Katam and the Rebel Alliance intervene. So, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen in the chat, what are your thoughts? I'm game for this.
Well,
I'll be honest, I'm game.
I am too. I mean, especially if they don't throw in the new Disney crap. Keep that out. Don't try to weasel that shit in. Keep this completely and utterly faithful to the original Dark Forces. Because I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for this game, you wouldn't have had Battlefront. You know, the various forms of the Star Wars Battlefront shooters, or many of those others. This really showed that Star Wars could truly be played in the video game universe. There was many games before that. Obviously, you had X-Wing, stuff like that, but a one-on-one type, first-person shooter where you're fully immersed that way, yeah, that was great. I don't know how many hours I spent playing that game. Too many hours. And let it be faithful. I want it faithful to what it was. Go ahead, throw that Legends thing on there. But this was a more compelling story than what Disney gave us with Rogue One. It really was. And, Kyle Katarn also went on to be part of 3 graphic novellas. I think he even made it into the novels, too. Part of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy, or Praxium, I could say. Yeah, let's rock and roll. This is great news that someone's doing this. I would only make one request for a slight change, though. I'd love to have there be where you could have a co-op of 2, 3, 4 players in scenarios where you're pitted to have to do a job.
Let me check Steam real quick and see if they have any information on the game.
Sure. I mean, that'd be because back in the day they really didn't have that available, and that'd be the only thing off of what it was in the old days that I'd love to see. Because wouldn't you love to be immersed in that Dark Forces universe, kicking ass and taking names?
I would, but unfortunately, the information I'm getting from Steam is that it's only single player.
Darn. Understandable. They're wanting to be purists, and I can understand that.
Yeah.
But it'd be great. Maybe someone will mod it. I don't know.
You never know. It could happen.
Hey, maybe they'll mod Kathleen Kennedy in there as one of the villains.
Wait a minute. In case you haven't heard already, folks, when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy and Disney,
you might think everything is okay, but Disney is gonna get you. Kathleen Kennedy's gonna get you. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you.
I want to see Bob Iger as a Jawa. in this game. A cowering little Jawa. I'm so scared.
Bob Iger. He wanted to come back to Disney as a savior, and well, he's not the savior.
Yeah, he wanted to be the savior of the shit that he caused. And it's like, yeah.
Thank you, Jace. I'll check it after the show. I have Discord closed right now.
Well, is he sending nudes again?
I don't know.
No.
Maybe he's sending Norwegian stuff.
No, YouTube is running into problems with a lot of people lately, so he's just letting you know.
Oh yeah.
It started today, so
yeah, and I'll throw some of my 2 cents worth when we get to that point.
Alrighty.
Conversation.
Tell you what, Jace, I'll check it real quick.
Look what you're making him do, Jace. We're crying out loud. All the stress. But, I can't wait to see that. I hope it's not going to be too expensive. And it'll be just absolute joy to re-immerse myself in that Dark Forces universe.
Yeah, I see that because of the outages. Everybody's stream is either buffering or having issues, but the show must go on.
Who's outing me? Don't out me.
I didn't ask for anybody to out you.
Oh, okay. Did Kathleen Kennedy try to out me? Oh, no.
And you know what? This will just be one of the things where, if we get views afterwards, great.
Yeah.
I try not
back.
I'm trying not to stress about stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, let's just roll with the punches and keep it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to Dark Forces Remaster, yeah, I'm like you, Baron. I would love for it to be multiplayer online. But even getting this remaster to begin with is still, a plus for fans.
I'm just trying to figure out, how did they do this? How were they able to talk Disney into doing this? Because Disney doesn't like anything EU. Anytime they have to do something that is in that category, it's like kicking and screaming. It was like, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. Don't you know we got a better universe? And so I'm just absolutely surprised, and hats off to these guys for doing so. Again, I just hope that Disney doesn't insist that they throw in some Disney crap in there.
I don't want Disney crap in there. I want this game to be a worthy remaster of the original. Right. Meaning everything that was originally in the game is back in this remaster. Not changed, not altered in any way.
Right. And this game series even had a very strong female character, Jan Ors. Even though she didn't play prominent in the game, but in the storytelling, in the lore of that goes around this Dark Forces universe within the Star Wars universe, she was badass. She was a kick-ass.
Yes.
So don't tell me we didn't have strong women.
And I was going to just say, so it just goes to show, we've always had strong female characters. It's just that we have people currently who don't want to see it. They think that they're the innovators and creators of these new strong female characters.
Yeah. Right.
And of course, Phil is saying, as the king and legend of Pop Talk, remember, Phil, I'm the emperor. I will always be the emperor. I approve, minus that cash money. Fired, brought back on discount. Your like has been smashed. Well, I appreciate you smashing them like. You do a good service for the emperor.
You are the Q. He's the Turlane and you're the Q.
Why, Mon Capitan, thank you for the compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
come on.
I've already put it on my wish list, Baron,
Oh,
on Steam.
okay. Yeah, I got Fire Up Steam, so I can do that. I mean, oh,
I mean, I don't think this game's gonna be that much. Maybe
I hope not.
$30 at the most.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah, I mean, really, yeah, which is not a bad price. Not a bad price at all.
No.
And we got to support this. I mean, when I sit back and say before, well, how can you think about buying something Star Wars with Kathleen Kennedy and all that and what they've done? It's like, well, you reward them for what they do right. This is something they are doing right,
Mm-hmm.
and it must be rewarded. If we don't have our voices, heard in this, then they'll just, okay, we're gonna throw it off to the side. If we are out there and rewarding for it, they can't ignore it. They really cannot ignore it. So, if you like Dark Forces, and this port is this
port needs to be good though, really
right,
good, actually.
and right, and if it's good, reward them, and let's hope it is good.
Because if you purchase this game, you reward them by purchasing the game and playing the game, and tells them this is what we want.
Right.
Not what we've been given in the past, but games like this. Make a Dark Forces 3.
Mm-hmm. Remaster the other ones, do a Dark Forces 3 or continue that universe, the EU universe through this way. And remember, it's a third part. It's not LucasArts, or don't exist anymore, but it's not Lucasfilm that's doing this game. It's another company.
Mm-hmm.
So reward them. They should be rewarded most of all. If we turn our noses up and say, I'm not going to buy it because of Disney. Well, these guys who obviously are trying to bring back what we grew up on and what is important to Star Wars will be disenfranchised. We don't want that. We want to build up. If we really mean what we say out there in this battle, and this is a truly good port, a truly good update, then they should be rewarded. Let our voices be heard that way.
I want to say hello to Superfan Adam Shawhan, and I just want you to know, Superfan, this is another company taking the game and remastering it.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the original game and making sure that they recreate everything exactly as it was, with updated graphics, updated resolutions.
Yes.
So this company does care. Disney may not care, but this company certainly cares. If they're going to take the time to look at the old game and say, okay, let's remaster it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if this was an in-house job, I'd have so many red flags going. It's like, yeah, I bet you, yeah. What are they trying to fool? What are they going to try to pull over on us? But this isn't in-house. This is outhouse. I don't want to say outhouse because Disney's the outhouse. But those are what we need to reward. These are the things that when we clamor and ask for something, and they start giving it, it's time for us to, if it's something we like, because, let's face it, some people didn't like Dark Forces. Fine, no problem. It's not their thing. But if you like it and it turns out good, let's reward them. Let the voices be heard that way. They always say you vote with your pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
this game developer does care, Adam, that they're going to painstakingly recreate the game.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's see what happens. It's exciting news.
I'm not saying I would buy it day one.
No, our pre-order. I mean, I don't believe in pre-ordering for many reasons. Spider-Man, other games. But it's like, let's see what happens here.
And Adam, I've realized what's going on around the world. But for gaming, that is a distraction for people. You hear enough news about what's going on in the world, you want to play something that gives you a momentary distraction.
Right. Yeah. Even during World War II, had to be distractions.
Radio shows still went on.
Right. Movies were still made. Of course, you had the USO going out there and helping the troops out with entertainment. You still need that. You cannot abandon. Now, to have this up above all that, that's the wrong thing to do, where you let our fantasy worlds override everything.
And Adam, if you had been here in the beginning, we mentioned that the release date is February 28th of next year. So yes, it is happening.
Right. So with that, it's like everyone else is talking about these bad things. Not everybody has to talk about these bad things. There's shit going on in this world. Our job here is not to talk about that. Our job is to talk about pop culture and all this other wonderful stuff that we have, because these are the things that keep things alive. Things like, I've talked to others and even Jace about how in World War II, yes, pop culture helped keep them alive under National Socialist thumb with the superhero, the Phantom. The Phantom was huge in Norway for the longest time because they viewed him as a freedom fighter. Things like this, yes, are very important because it keeps the morale high, and we need morale high. We can't be going out depressed and whatever, because by doing that, we start becoming defeatists. We don't have that fire in our belly to win what is needed out there. And things like this, again, if it's as a distraction, not immersing yourself and using it as new life, which is what the problem is with the SJWs and the other woke wankers and blue-haired land whales. For them, yes, it is total immersion. That's why everything's got to reflect them. It's got to be me. The writers, basically, it's me. When we have heroes, when we have stories that immerses us in, when we have things like this where, you might not be able to go out and fight the war personally yourself, but you can have a little diversion and do it in the Star Wars universe. It keeps that morale up. And by us keeping the morale up, it keeps others around us that are doing important jobs up.
And Adam, I understand what's going on in the world right now, but we are not talking about that right now. We can talk about it at a later time.
Right. And yeah, people were excited about that too. But again, let's see. And that's the important thing that Mike and even I have said in this. Let's see what they do. It's exciting to have something that sounds like people really, truly love this.
Yeah.
Let's appreciate what someone is trying to do. And that's all.
And another point of view, this may not even be Disney's decision to bring back the game. This game publisher, developer, probably went to Disney and said, hey, folks really like this particular game. Let us remaster it. Let us give the fans what they want. Because there are companies that do care.
Right.
Maybe few and far between, but there are companies that do care.
I think that us putting the pressure on them might be one of the reasons why this is happening, because they're losing money with all the other stuff. They are. It's not being the big, again, like I said, this is something that should be laying 2 golden eggs every hour, but all they're gaining is a 10 egg every month off of this property. Maybe somebody inside, the Disney Corporation thought that, okay, let's take a chance on this. We need to, someone else is doing it. They're taking the risks. They're putting the effort into it. We don't have to do a thing, and all we can do is reap money off of it if it's successful.
And Adam, you are talking about what's going on in the world right now. You say you're in the middle. We're in the middle of World War III. I realize what's going on in Pakistan and Israel right now, all around the world right now.
Yeah, Ukraine, Russia, everything. It's a shit show out there. Everything's a shit show. And again, that's why having this very positive news, it is positive news. If this is really truly what it is, it means that we are winning. The fight that we've been doing in pulp culture means that we are winning.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be celebrated if this comes out and it's good.
Exactly. And there's one thing that Pop Talk will not become is an echo chamber. There are too many echo chambers out there on YouTube that'll keep feeding you the same crap over and over again. And that's one thing I will make sure Pop Talk never does, is feeding you the same crap over and over again. That's why Baron's here. That's why Cash is here. That's why I'm here, to give you our own perspective on it. And if it's a perspective you don't agree with, fine. But we all have our points of view.
Right. Exactly. So let's hear it for someone at least taking the effort to try. And let's hope that that effort is successful. We have been surprised many times before by things that we didn't expect to turn out good, and they were absolutely fantastic. Oh, I mean, a particular film back in 1977. No one expected much of that.
Well, if we wake up...
What about a Christmas Story Christmas? When that came out, I didn't think that was going to be any good, and then I watched it. I'm all, this is a worthy successor to the original A Christmas Story.
Right. It's a nice bookend. And we don't need any other ones. This is it. This is the best one. You don't need to continue the story after this, because you got the bookend. You have you have Ralphie being the kid. Now Ralphie's grown up and he's having to take the mantle of the old man.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, though...
Yes, Adam, I do think the game's still going to come out in February, even with everything going on the way it is. Because guess what? They probably already have it ready. They're just waiting for the official release date.
And probably fixing up all the last minute, making sure it's as bug-free as possible. I really hope. You know?
I don't think it'll ever help anybody to wake up every day and think every piece of entertainment that comes out, it's always going to be doom and gloom. I don't think that helps anything. I really don't.
No, I mean, that's what Cash does. Look at him. Look at him. Do you want to be like Cash?
I don't. Nice try, Baron. Well, I'm on you. Just remember, Kathleen Kennedy's going to get you.
That's right. Disney's going to get you.
No!
Kathleen Kennedy and Disney are going to get you.
No! Help me. Mommy, where are you?
There are no Disney executives under your bed, Baron.
I saw Pablo Hidalgo. He was underneath my bed.
I mean, look at how something like One Piece turned out for a lot of people. You know, a lot of us were worried about that, especially people who watched the anime, and a lot of people enjoyed it.
I've never watched the anime, and I ended up liking the live action series.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm watching the anime because of it. And it's like, oh, yeah, I can see where it made deviations, but I can see where it was necessary, especially with a show that has over 1,000 episodes. Yeah, well done. And the fact that the young lady in there, she's from Minnesota. So, I mean, there we go. Got the Minnesota connection.
When Crit told us about Arcane and how good it was, I was skeptical.
Yeah, me too.
Until I watched it. And it actually is a good show.
How did we dare doubt the Orca? We should never doubt the Orca. Never.
I mean, heck, earlier this year, I went and saw Megan. I wasn't expecting to get much from that movie. And I ended up liking it. Why? Because it didn't take itself seriously. It knew what it was, and it worked within its budget. Now, I am worried about its potential sequel, because you know what happens when movies like that get bigger budgets in their sequel.
Yeah,
it loses that magic that it had.
Right. Sometimes things just need to be one and done. It's like, we're going to make a sequel to Citizen King. What? Rosebud really wasn't the sled, and we're going to discover why.
And hello to Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000.
No, it's good to see news like this because we need to have hope. What did George Lucas when eventually he started doing the numbering system put down for Star Wars then calling it Episode 4, A New Hope? Well, you got to have hope. If we don't have hope, then why do we even wake up in the morning?
Also,
Why do we get out of
I want to
bed?
ask everybody this. How do you feel if Pop Talk, every single episode, we always talked about the crap that's going on? It was always negative news. How would you feel about that?
Well,
I can tell you how I would feel. Giving you
I would
guys that crap every time. That's exactly what it'd be. It'd be crap. It'd be like, I'm not watching this. They're always negative. They're always crapping on things that they haven't even watched.
Right, and we have crapped on shit. We have crapped on stuff when we felt it was needed.
Well, when it's necessary and we've seen it, we have crapped on it.
Right.
Picard season 3, we all saw it, and we
Or part
crapped
of
on it.
Yeah. Right. You know, when things need to be damned, we damn them. When things need to be praised, we praise them. And that's what we need to do. And again, if we are serious in this battle, we need to, again, reward when things are done right because they won't know otherwise. If this comes out and it's absolutely freaking fantastic, right? This really does bring back those memories and it looks beautiful. But we don't do it because, well, I don't like, Disney Star Wars. Well, what is that?
Yeah.
And you're just holding that grudge, then it won't, they'll just sit back and go, oh, we tried. They don't care about this. So let's just keep on doing our own shit.
And I'm going to give a perfect example that some game developers do care. I played the game Star Trek Resurgence after watching season 3 of Star Trek Picard. And Star Trek Resurgence was like watching an actual Star Trek episode that you would see during TNG's era, during Deep Space Nine's era, during Voyager's era, even Enterprise. It was that kind of story. It was that good.
Yeah, I got lost
so yes,
watching.
There are game developers that do care. They get a property, they know exactly where they want to take it, and they give you a story that gives you the immersion that you want. In the second part, I kept saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream, folks. And then I started getting drawn back into the story again.
Yeah,
just when I thought the stream was gonna end, it's like, I can't stop this right now. This is too good.
Yeah, screw you about that too, because I was watching. It's like, I got another stream to do. Come on, Mike. You just call it off so we can watch it. Come on. Okay, screw you, Mike. I gotta go. I hated that because I was so drawn in on that story, what was going on in there. It's like, ooh, what's going to happen next? I mean, I was watching Star Trek. It was watching Star Trek. You were playing it. I was watching it. It's like, why can't we have this anymore? Why? Bravo to them, and I hope they have that so I can.
And what I'm saying, Adam, is too many shows focus on the negative. Too many shows that I've seen on YouTube or any other platform focus on the negative in pop culture and don't even want to admit that there's at least some positive going out there. And that's what we're trying to do here on Pop Talk.
Yeah. We're not saying that you want to change it. We're just explaining ourselves and our approach and how we see things. I mean, we don't even like each other. You should hear us after the show and all that. We're just at each other's throats in the back. But we put it aside to come on here because, we believe in all this. I mean,
remember, though, Baron, just remember Kathleen Kennedy's going to get you.
No,
Disney's going to get you.
No.
And Warner Brothers is going to get you.
No.
And I'll be honest, Adam, I have no interest in GTA 6.
I'm worried about GTA 6, and there are definitely concerns, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
hopefully,
I'm curious about it. Yeah.
When you go away from things that have worked so well, it's just things go bad. I mean, yes, I can say I can make fun of Call of Duty. I can make fun of GT because this stuff used to be great, but it's not anymore. Sony, people still want to sit there and say Sony's great. You can believe that. That's fine. But the facts show otherwise.
Hey, Cash. Hey, Cash.
Yeah. Mm.
You said duty.
Yeah.
He's a duty.
Yeah, he's a duty.
And you know what? I did not see you on Patrol Live last night,
Oh
Cash.
boy.
So you were doing good. I mean, I don't know what you're doing, who's keeping you out of trouble, but that was nice, you know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Adam, people
They're
hear
they're
a
gonna
lot of
get
different
they're gonna
things,
stop
man.
supporting GTA
Yeah.
5 once GTA 6
If-
comes out.
If they
Yeah.
go in the wrong direction, they deserve the backlash. They
Yeah.
deserve this. I mean, look. I'm curious to see how many people have returned Spider-Man 2 after the mess. I mean, it's just, once again, just that game is just another example of that. You need to be careful of blindly supporting these companies. And if you like that direction, more power to you. I don't, but other people do, and that's
Yeah, I mean,
fine.
you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about this other article real quick.
All right.
Oh,
Since
cool.
we are talking about
got
gaming.
Another article.
Yeah. This is what folks should be worried about. Companies like Nintendo, who are creating new rules for content creators. And this article was published a few days ago. It's by C. Anthony Rivera. And it says content creators must read up on new guidelines from Nintendo that concern video and image sharing platforms involving its games. It says Nintendo has introduced new guidelines for content creators, including restrictions on image and video sharing activities related to Nintendo games. The guidelines aim to establish respect between Nintendo's games and the creators who play and capture gameplay. It's free advertisement in Nintendo. Content creators must abide by the rules, which range from monetization regulations to permissions for using promotional material, and stay updated as the guidelines may be altered in the future. It says content creators will need to adjust to some new guidelines by Nintendo when it comes to image and video sharing activities. A new wave of content guidelines has added their playing and sharing Nintendo games, coupled with several frequently asked questions for further context. As Nintendo continues to sharpen its authority over content creation regarding its products, online creators continuously adapt to the ever changing atmosphere. The challenges that come with producing creative and original content only get tighter with the newly established community tournament guidelines for Nintendo games that were officially announced on October 24th, 2023. These will go into effect November 15th, while tournament enthusiasts will look into the regulations for their own community events. Content creators must abide by their own set of rules if they wish to continue generating Nintendo related media. It's an effort to help establish respect between Nintendo's games and the creators who play and capture gameplay. I don't buy that one bit.
Not at all. That sounds like bullshit. I call
And
bullshit.
administering, yeah, so do I. And administrating a brief update to its content creation guidelines, Nintendo has published a new set of regulations that touch on online video and image sharing platforms, with a sincere opening that states flat Nintendo is humbled by its fans' love and passion for the games. Nintendo provides a few basic rules that won't deny the use of digital products. This includes footage and screenshots that capture gameplay from Nintendo games. The new set of rules is an update to the original regulations that were established on November 29th, 2018. So it's not like this is something new. They're just adding to what they've already established.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo has administered 6 new rules. They range from monetization regulations to certain permissions regarding promotional material. The new guidelines for content creators are as follows. You may monetize your videos and channels using the monetization methods separately specified by Nintendo. Other forms of monetization of our intellectual property for commercial use are not permitted. We encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary, videos and images that contain mere copies of Nintendo game content without creative input or commentary. Meaning, if you're playing the game, you could say, what you like about the game and what you're trying to do in the game, give criticism in the game. They're fine with that, apparently. Input or commentary. Well, let's see. I skipped it. We encourage you to create videos that include your creative input and commentary, videos and images that contain mere copies of Nintendo game content without creative input or commentary are not permitted. So you can't just upload a video of the gameplay and not provide any sort of commentary, is what they're saying.
Well, try it on Rumble,
Well,
see what happens.
Yeah.
but
Alternate
you know what?
platforms. Go ahead, Barry. Go ahead.
But you know what? If you're doing this, you should be making commentary.
Yes.
That's half the fun is listening to, if you're not
True.
doing talking or commentary, it's like
Mhm.
boring. I don't watch. I like listening to even if it's not even about the gameplay, the person's just talking about it. I enjoy that. I think that's great. I mean, I wouldn't put something up. I mean, we talk when we do our games, so I mean,
Yeah, no, I
mean-
think it's good to talk, but I also, people also do those gameplays where they have no commentary, and so, but Nintendo gets upset about this nonsense. They've done this to people, even people putting on fan tournaments of their older Smash Brothers games, and they do this stuff sometimes, and it's just stupid. Sony does their stupid things, Microsoft does their stupid things, and then Nintendo does some of their stupid things.
yeah. They listen to pinhead lawyers that don't know themselves what the hell they're talking about.
It's just dumb.
Because the lawyers are not part of promotion. The lawyers are just about how do we screw them and how. Really, honestly, and they don't realize how much free advertising, FREE, free advertising they get in these. Even playing, even the studios when people want to play the trailer, the freaking trailer. It's not the movie. It's the trailer.
You can't even play the trailer the majority of the time.
Right. And this is free advertising. It's like we're being your useful idiots, people. Really, honestly.
They don't see it that way. They
I
see
know
that
they
you're interfering with their intellectual property.
Yeah. I believe that there's some intellectualness behind it.
So it goes on to say you may, however, post gameplay videos and screenshots using Nintendo system features, such as the capture button on Nintendo Switch, without additional input or commentary. So it sounds like if you were to do that and possibly transform it into a short, they're fine with that. Because shorts are usually only 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or even a minute.
Right.
You are only permitted to use Nintendo game content that is generated after the game has been officially released, or if it is from promotional materials officially released by Nintendo, such as a product, trailers, or Nintendo Directs. So it almost sounds like they're going after people that are playing the ROMs.
Right. And those that might get early access, for the quote unquote reviewers, and they put it because remember how Starfield, Bethesda with Starfield is like you cannot, you got these games, you play it, you don't talk about it, you don't, unless it's something that we say you can, You don't show any play unless it's something we tell you can.
Well,
And that's understandable.
That's part
understandable.
of
I can
beta
understand.
testing too. If you sign up to be a beta tester for a
Right.
game, I've done that, and you read the terms of service. And there
Mhm.
are some companies that strictly state you cannot stream your beta testing of this game. You have to
Mhm.
keep it to yourself, play the game,
Right.
and give them feedback, but you cannot stream it in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
All right. So it says if you want to use the intellectual property of a third party, you are responsible for obtaining any necessary third party permission. It says you are not permitted to imply or state that your videos are officially affiliated with or sponsored by Nintendo. We reserve the right to object to any content that we believe is unlawful, infringing, inappropriate, or not in line with these guidelines. With
Animos, we're talking to you in your wand waving.
with the new rules in effect, Nintendo will not be able to respond to individual inquiries that may concern the above listed guidelines. Furthermore, these said guidelines can be altered at a later date. Of course, any terms of
Well,
service can be altered at a later date. YouTube does it, Rumble can do it, any platform can do it at any time. And they don't
Ray,
even
I
have to
don't
notify
alter
you.
it. Mhm. Ray, I do
It's a
not
Go ahead.
alter it. Further.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
Yep.
Darth Vader. It's like we're Orlando, they're Vader.
hmm It's important for content creators to stay up to date with the rules, especially when it involves producing content with the newly released games such as Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Moreover, Nintendo provided several frequently asked questions. If content creators have additional questions, these FAQs involve such topics as using Nintendo's game content, hosting gaming tournaments, recording gameplay at an event, and more. Regardless of what question a creator may have, the supplement bits of information will provide further context. Content creators should pursue the new guidelines to avoid any issues with Nintendo if they're interested in capturing gameplay for their own creative and editorial purposes.
Look who I brought out of hiding.
Yeah, hey, he's always lurking. He's like Phil.
I
He's
know.
always lurking.
Yeah, I brought him out.
Anonymous. 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 So, Cash, Baron, chat, give us your thoughts.
Well, I guess it's not as horrendous as we thought. I mean, some of the stuff seems just typical and just making sure the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. But again, it comes right down to the fact that they have to realize that we're not out there to harm the property. Again, if we're out there playing the game and we want to share it online, it means, again, we're going back, we're rewarding, we like what they're doing. And they should take it as the free advertisements that it is.
Right. They should.
Right.
It's
I mean,
just-
if they're
there's just some
Mhm.
strict rules in there that are just stupid.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
when Atlas was a few years back when they're like, "Oh, don't show this, and you can only show this, and you can't show this." It's like people can choose not to watch it, and they can also put spoilers. But if somebody's doing a gameplay,
Right.
they're probably either going to do the whole game or they're just going to do some of the game. But Atlas got all crazy about it. Some people were like, screw Atlas and whatever. It's just a
Mhm.
mess. But they put these restrictions on streamers. It's like what you just said, Baron. It's free advertisement. But no, let's not look at that. But they want to these big gaming companies, they do these things. They want to cause headaches to other players. It's very annoying. Either taking off the 3DS games that people are still going to buy for years and years to come, just all kinds of crazy stuff. So I don't know. I don't know why they keep doing this stuff. It's like I said, Sony does their stupid crap, Microsoft does their stupid crap,
Mm-hmm.
and then Nintendo can do their stupid crap. And it's like, just don't stop doing this.
Well,
But it's the gameplay stuff where it's like they don't want you to just to show gameplay. You could do no commentary and show cool gameplay. No, don't do that. It's stupid. So
Yeah,
try it on
and
another
real
platform.
quick, I do want to say hello over to Jace, who's over on the Rumble side, and also a low spec Linux laptop, who is over on the Rumble side, although he's known as low spec Linux gaming over there. And I want to say hello to Pops.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Pops.
Always
I loved your video on SOS Dinobots, by the way, brother. And Hunty, good to see you. Well, of course, I'm a Transformers fan, and G1 is
Hello,
where
Hunty.
it's at. I'm like fans of the original series of Star Trek. That's Transformers to me. G1.
Yep. But again, the big problem is, again, they're too busy listening to lawyers who, let's face it, they have the imagination of a walnut. They don't understand anything other than, legality. And the people who are in basically the promotions end, I mean, I don't know what's with them. They should be out there screaming and hollering and yelling, saying, "This is not hurting us. This is free Do you want to keep on spending higher advertising money? Well, that's how you do it. Let these schmucks do it for you."
You want to know something, everyone? I'm sure I'm not alone in this. But one of the main reasons I watch a gaming stream, especially of a new game, is to see the game in action and determine, is this a game I would play? Is this a game that's worth spending the money on?
And
watching someone else's gameplay, hearing their commentary as they're going through it, will sometimes help determine whether or not I buy a game.
What better? You don't get that off of a sizzle reel or the promotion videos that they have. Usually sometimes they're not even showing any gameplay in it. And they gotta put down yeah, this isn't really a gameplay, but it looks pretty, doesn't it? Seeing someone play, and let's face it, that becomes a trap for us. When we start seeing someone playing it, even if it's a mediocre game, we still sit back and go, "Ooh, this looks like fun." I can see it's not a great game, but it's a great time waster.
And Pops is absolutely right. I've had it happen to me where I've received copyright claims because I might have gone over 1/100th of a second of the video, instead of the allotted time that they give you. And even making clips, I do try to make sure I stay within that 30 seconds you're supposed to be allotted. But even then, it's not always at 30 seconds. Sometimes you can have a video and 2 seconds of it show up, and then there's a claim 24 hours later.
I know you've done that. You've done some great editing on it, going, "Hey, yeah, everything is just fine," and
there's some bot that goes, I mean, Pops, I've even heard you say that you've had to go through clips and you've had to trim it down more and more and more just so it appeases the copyright bots. And let's see, Hunty is saying, I personally think that these companies are just greedy. I agree with that.
Right.
Shoot, Games Workshop threatens fan animations with legal actions.
They did that because they got their Warhammer TV now. They want everybody to go to their Warhammer TV. They don't want the fans interfering with that.
Games Workshop. Yeah, exactly. Like Hunty said, they became a problem too, and people have even done videos on this. It's crazy.
Right.
This nonsense that they want to. It's like, punishing people. It's ridiculous.
Right. And
Punishing
again,
gamers for their nonsense. It's like, this is free advertisement. What are you guys doing? You act like
Right.
somebody's trying to hurt your company by doing this. Is stupid.
well,
I mean, let's look at it this way too. If any of us were to buy a game and stream it, we're giving that company free advertisement. We're even praising the game in some cases and criticizing the game in other cases. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. Well, the first Metal Gear Solid, it's a complete mess if you're trying to play it on a gamepad. I'd hate to even know what it's like playing it on a keyboard.
Yee.
And then Gotham Knights, when it's not on sale a year later, they're still asking $60 for that game. It's not worth $60. Cash and I have gone over that over and over and over again. How that game's not even worth $60. Even buying it on sale like we did, it's not worth $60, especially after a 40 gigabyte update and the game's a mess. Heck, Bat Steven was playing it the other day. And he wasn't having a good experience. And he even asked me, he said, Mike, is this how the game actually is? I said, it gets worse.
Oh, not what he wanted to hear.
Oh, but he's even playing it and going, my God, this game's broken. And I said, I told you. And I do want to say hello to Maria with TN Telly. Good to see you, Maria.
Yep.
Hello.
Hey, Maria.
And I understand that too. It's why I don't show a lot of movie trailers anymore on Pop Talk.
It seems like it's just safer to do stuff on Rumble. You hear that, YouTube? Yeah, shut up.
For the moment, but
yeah.
When does YouTube and Rumble start to mirror each other?
Yeah, I know. There's always that possibility.
Oh, hopefully.
But they seem to be standing strong on certain things, so we'll see.
Well, and see,
we
that's
can't
just
see the
it,
future, unfortunately. So
you know,
we can guess stuff, but
when we're saying that, YouTube is going to be the home for the next Hollywood, you know what? I have to change my opinion on that. No, it's not. Why? Because they're doing all these stupid things, which of course is leaving a company, if they're smart enough, like Rumble, if they're smart enough to have a little bit more freedom, then that's where you're going to start seeing it. But these people are coming down, these companies and such are coming down on these fans who are doing things because they love this stuff and they want to honor it. And yes, that's what it is. You don't do these things because you want to mock, jeer, or whatever. You do it, you put the time, effort, and money into these without expecting a cent back because you love this. And that's where a lot of people are, showing off their work, their artistic styles and such, which can get them a job somewhere else. When someone sees it and says, "You know what, these guys aren't that bad after. Let's hire them on." Like the deep fakers. Like it's, didn't Disney hire them on that were fixing the deep fake from The Mandalorian season 2?
Yeah.
So it might become Rumble. Let's hope Rumble starts getting a little inspired. You're going, you know what? We need to get things going here. We got to make some changes to make it really inviting. And before you know it, YouTube is going to go the way of MySpace.
It might.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they're going the way they are,
even if it doesn't go the way of MySpace, good heavy competition is going to be worth it, because then people are going to say, well, if I can't do this on YouTube and Rumble's allowing me to do it, then I'm going to go to Rumble.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the competition. I'd rather see competition. I don't want to see one overtaken and being the only one. Again, you're going from one monopoly to another monopoly. I want competition. I just got to know how things go and how these companies have been working. They're so stupid in there. Again, with the imagination of a walnut, not being able to grasp these concepts, and they shoot themselves in the foot. because they're listening to the wrong people. Let's listen to the lawyers. Well, the lawyers don't know jack shit. They might know the law.
The lawyers are out of touch when it comes to what the people want.
Right.
I think
Exactly.
Atari is starting to make a little bit of a comeback, actually.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add to that, Adam. Not only does Atari need to come back and make their own console again, but Sega.
Mm-hmm.
Put Sega back out there making consoles again.
Sega.
Because you know that was one of the best times of the 90s. Were you a Nintendo fan with the Super Nintendo, or were you Sega with the Genesis?
Oh, we certainly need a lot more competition. That's for sure.
Competition is good. Competition creates creativity.
Right.
It pushes other companies too. So they need that. Just the things that Microsoft does, it's like, oh well, this seems good. And they're like, ugh, you know.
Which going back,
it's a mess. Just as an example, it's all a mess. But it can get better. It just depends of the people who are willing to work. But if you say you're for the players, then be for the players. Be for your consumers. Make them as happy as you can. I mean, from Ubisoft to all these other companies, even Insomniac Game in the past, it's like, oh, wow, they've done some really great things. But now it's like, oh, well, you got to love this Spider-Man game or whatever. But
why do I have to love it? Because it's meeting all the check boxes that they want to meet today? No.
Right.
If I'm looking at the game and the game isn't holding my interest,
then
I'm not going to play it. Or if I buy the game and I notice that there are issues with the gameplay, well, guess what? I'm not going to continue with it.
Yep.
Now, there are exceptions. When it came to Gotham Knights, that game was broken. But it's like, okay, I'm already this far into the game. I'm going to complete it.
Right.
You guys might hear me moan and groan and complain about it, but I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
Which I did.
Exactly.
I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain.
You're damn right.
We have our pain, but then it's like it's like an extra pain from the different companies or different developers, and it's just like all we're asking is you guys do better. And so the reason a lot of people are pointing out what's going on in Spider-Man or some of these other games, like they don't have to go in that direction. And people said, oh, well, what about the other Spider-Man games? Yeah, they were great because they didn't have this nonsense in them. They didn't need this nonsense. So, you know, and it may make some people upset, whatever, bashing on Spider-Man, but it's like all these different developers or different companies, it's easy to mock them instead of just getting mad, like, how dare you do this? It's like, oh, you're doing this crap again. Okay.
Well, I mean, if the companies were actually serious like they were in the old days, they'd hear our criticisms and understand, because it's not just one person. It's not just the because they know deep down that a lot of the problems that comes out is the blue-haired land whales, and they're not a significant percentage of the committee. And more importantly, they don't even partake in the product. They just want to cause problems. They know that.
Yeah.
But the thing is when they start hearing from us in a louder volume, then it's time for them to start sitting up and going, But no, what do? They just attack. They attack everybody.
Well,
they attack the wrong people.
Let's go into an attack of sorts. Price hiking. Hiking stuff. That's an attack on the consumer, don't you think?
Oh, if it's I mean, if it's uncalled for, yeah.
Well, we have this article from GameSpot, and I'm going to post it over onto the Rumble side real quick before I start flapping the gums.
Rumble. I like it.
But it says Sony defends PS Plus price hike, explains why it won't put games there game one. We have to look at our pricing and we have to adjust to market conditions. Well, I've already played this once today, and I'm going to play it again because I call bullshit. It's greed. It's 100% greed.
Right. And I want to preface something. There's nothing wrong with companies having greed. But again, it's just like us YouTubers with our egos, our Hollywood stars with their egos. There's nothing wrong with having an ego. It's whether or not you keep it in check. And you understanding that when there is a problem, no matter how big our ego or anything across the way or our greed, we have to do something different. If they're really truly greedy, they wouldn't have a problem with us giving them free advertising, right? So we have already found out that there is a moron chip malfunction with these people. These guys with moron chips have gone zap. And if anybody doesn't know, a moron chip is the thing that keeps us from doing stupid things. And these guys, well, obviously they never were given one. They have a faulty one, or, on their night bingings at the nightclub, snorting coke off of hookers' butts, finally went out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you heard me say that. I said snorting coke off of hookers' butts. Sue me. Back to you, Mike.
And this article is by Eddie McCook, and it starts off like this, folks. A top PlayStation boss has spoken out to defend the recent PlayStation Plus price increase and explain why the company does not bring its games to PlayStation Plus at launch like Microsoft does through Xbox Game Pass, although the new Alan Wake 2 is not available on Game Pass on day one. Explain that. Speaking to Barons, really, they were talking to you, Baron.
Yeah, they do. They know how important I am.
I know that they're talking about Barron's, the financial magazine.
No, they're talking about me. Don't lie.
PlayStation Senior Vice President Eric Lempel was asked to justify the recent PS Plus price increase, which saw the premium tier go up by $40. That's steep. That is steep.
Yeah.
Considering at one time it was to get PS Plus, it was $60.
Yep, $60 for the year. Yep, and you can find it cheaper. I think on CD Keys, like the cheapest you could find is $45 now. The cheapest you could find that I saw is $68. I'm like, ugh, that's just for the first tier.
Lempo said, like practically everything else in the world, we have to look at our pricing and we have to adjust to market conditions. The executive added, we want to make PlayStation Plus great. With our reboot last year and introducing the tier system, a lot of consumers have recognized that there's a lot of value in PlayStation 5. I don't see any value. I don't see the greatness. Where's the greatness that you keep hyping about? I don't see it.
That you don't have one? I don't know.
That's the funny thing, and the same thing with the crazy Sony fanboys. Like they'll attack you and call you names and stuff about things like Gran Turismo and things have changed. It's like, why did these ever have to change? Please tell me why we ever needed an always online connection in these games that never needed one. Please explain to me, Sony, why. I know, right?
Well, the thing is, Cash, every base has that crazed, mindless fan.
Right.
I mean, just take a look at those that follow New Trek. You dare say anything against New Trek, they come after you. Look at those that come after us because we don't like how Disney's doing Star Wars. Again, they're crazy. Just, they're frothing at the mouth and they don't want to see anything otherwise. So, I mean, it goes to say that even when it comes around again, I mean, back in the day, what's better, Mac or PC? And then you had the frothing fanboys on both sides of that battle.
Oh, I don't. The thing, and it's funny, Baron, because we don't want them to agree with us. It's just so funny how triggered they get when you say these things that are actual factual. It's like, this is facts, guys. Like, or this is just an opinion. Please tell me why this needed this. Why? Oh, it had to because of pirating and this and that. Are you sure about that? Because what about the other games? They didn't need those.
Right.
So what are you What are you guys talking about?
Well, that's just it. You ask questions, you want answers, and again, they can't provide an answer. What's the next thing that you do? You attack personally. Well, you're just a phobe and moron. You don't understand these things and blah blah and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Like, I just asked a question.
Yeah,
I know.
Lepel further stated that Sony had not previously raised prices for 85% 50% of the world in many years, which is a contrast from other subscription services that regularly raise prices. Yeah, look at Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max. Yes, I still call it HBO Max because calling it Max is just stupid.
It is. Unless it's Skinamax.
Sony previously raised PS Plus prices in 2017. Yeah, that's when I stopped buying it. Thinking I'm not gonna pay $60 a month. The new PS Plus price increases were announced in August this year. In terms of new features coming to the service, Sony just announced a movie catalog and will add PS5 streaming soon. Microsoft raised Xbox Game Pass prices in July. In the wider entertainment space, Apple TV Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and many others have raised subscription prices in the past year. Also, in the Baron's interview, Lampel was asked for his thoughts on Xbox Game Pass and specifically how the company launches its first party games into the catalog. Sony does not do this with PlayStation Plus, Lampel said. PlayStation Plus is very different from Game Pass, but he wouldn't be drawn into talking about launching first party PlayStation games on PS Plus. Well, you might want to consider it because that's one of the reasons why some people will subscribe to Game Pass is to get that access to first party games on launch day. Like I said, for some reason, Alan Wake 2 isn't on there.
No.
I don't know how long they're waiting to actually put it on the service, but for other games like Starfield, for example, that was their day one.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. And I got some insiders and super secret insiders. I can't let you know who they are, but they said the John Wick thing is specifically aimed at Cash. They wanted to irritate him. They knew it would irritate him, and it was specifically aimed at him. So I just got a question. That's from my super secret.
I just got a question for you, Baron.
Yeah.
Since when did you get insiders?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, I got insiders. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm the Baron. I am the Baron. Honestly.
Baron.
Well, no, the biggest problem to me is with Alan Wake 2 is like, is Saga Anderson going to become more important than Alan Wake in his own game? Because the first Alan Wake game was good.
Cash. I'm gonna stop you there real quick. I watched some gameplay. That's all I'm gonna say. Watch the gameplay and make your determination there.
I mean, I have before, but all right, I'll watch some more.
Way to shut him up, Mike. Good job. But
I'm just saying that's just a question. Like, so you didn't feel that way when you saw the more gameplay?
When I saw the gameplay, actual gameplay, and it was more than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It was an actual stream of it.
I
was thinking, this game looks very good.
Okay.
Hopefully, it's one of those things where looks.
Hopefully, it is. Yeah.
That's another reason to watch gaming streams, games that you're skeptical about.
Yep.
Then you can watch it and go, you know what? This game doesn't look so bad.
But so, did you feel like you saw more Alan Wake than that Saga Anderson FBI character?
Okay. A little spoiler.
Yeah.
She is a good portion of the story, but it's not like they ignore Alan Wake.
Okay.
He's interwoven into the scenarios that she's put into.
Yep. That's why I always say the if on that. If, she becomes more important than him, then it's a problem. If.
Because
that's good.
When you see Alan Wake in the game, this is kind of spoilers, but I'm letting you all know now. Before she even gets into that scenario, it's Alan Wake who's introducing that scenario.
And he's naked.
And then you have to actually go through it as her character.
Now, I do have a question. So they're saying that this pass also includes movies, right?
That's your opinion, Jace.
Oh, I missed what his opinion was. Oh, okay. Okay, well, maybe it is. I mean, again, what's one person's cup of tea is not another person's. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, let's hope. Let's hope. I mean, there's games and stuff that you guys like or do. I could care less about.
Right.
But
right.
have fun.
Yep.
Have fun.
Yeah.
But if they're including movies in this, I don't give a rip about a movie service with them. Why don't they release a games pass that's just games then that's cheaper?
I don't know. That's why it's important to archive a lot of this old stuff, because
Right.
this kind of nonsense goes on. They didn't need
Well,
to.
yeah,
I
because
would really love to see Sony's argument why they raised prices. So it just seems to me a bunch of excuses. But
Well, let's
yeah.
see if
I mean,
this
especially
next
that
quote
high.
here even says anything, or this
Okay.
is just a bunch of word salad.
Mhm.
It comes or a bunch of gobbledygook.
There, I
It
like
comes
word salad,
down.
but gobbledygook is good.
It comes down to what you're going to get in the service in terms of the type of game and the quality of games. I can't comment on what the competition is doing, but with us, we feel we're offering a great curated catalog of games as well as other features and services with PlayStation Plus. He said it's a very different offering, but it's one that resonated with consumers since we introduced the tiers. We've seen a third of Plus users base up for the upper two tiers, which was more than we had expected. In 2022, outgoing PlayStation boss Jim Ryan said Sony does not put new games on PS Plus because of the virtuous cycle of investment that leads to commercial payoff would be significantly derailed if Sony were to take that approach. I don't agree with that statement, and I'll tell you why. Because some of the games that you're able to play day one on Game Pass, you download them, you find out for yourself right away whether you're going to pay full price for the game or not, or if you're going to
I
wait for it to
agree.
go on sale.
I think it's a good way. You do the 3 months or whatever, and Game Pass
Yeah.
isn't perfect, but there's a lot of games on there. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to see more, some 360, especially on PC. But yeah, it's definitely a good way to see if you want to buy this game later on. I do agree with
So
that.
you mean to tell me that something that's working, because you're not going to comment on others, because by doing so, you're admitting that, hey, it's working on the others. We're not going to follow, I mean, yeah, there's things about keeping up with the Joneses and all that, but they're just smart business practices. So it's working for the others. They're not suffering for it. In fact, they're probably gaining not just subscription, but people actually buying these games because they're not always on Game Pass forever. So you're trying to tell me that these guys are failing big time, so you got to change the other way around. It rings hollow. Again, you guys sound like you have the intellectual capacity of a walnut.
Well, you know what? I just went to PlayStation's site and I don't know, Cash, Bear, and Chat, both on YouTube and Rumble.
Oh,
you want to pay $80 per year?
Hell no. Hell no. I mean, the cheapest you can get it now, like I said before, is 68. I think that was the cheapest I saw, but that's still pretty high.
I'll go ahead and put the link in there too for anyone who wants to look at it for themselves.
Yeah, there you go. Sign up. You don't need that money. You don't need that money. Yeah. Especially in this booming economy.
I have an internet bill that's $80 per month.
Oh. Mine's 65 right now.
But yeah, I'm not paying $80 per month just for a video game service. No, it's not worth it in my opinion.
And there are games that I still have locked under PlayStation Plus, but if I could, I don't know, I might try it. If I'm going to do it, I'll do it for the 3 months or something, just like I do with Sony. What I do with Microsoft. But with Sony, I will never probably do the year again. I just do like a few months so I can finish those games that I haven't finished yet on PlayStation Plus.
I'll admit, I did the 12-month plan in the past when it was cheaper.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just it. When your budget can allow it. But these people seem. Oh, now I'm sounding like freaking Cash Money here. These people,
man.
Yeah, seem to forget that we're having a hard time economically. People are having a hard enough time putting food on the table. I wish I could say I was being over dramatic about it, but that's the case. I mean, I've seen how my grocery bill has significantly increased over the last couple of years. So when you have that
electric bills haven't increased, home mortgages have increased because the big banks increase them.
Correct. So you mean to tell me that I'm going to a non-necessity escapism I'm going to pay that much money for? If you lower the prices, you'd probably get more people in that would then compensate for the quote-unquote perceived losses you're going to have. Because people still need to have their, like I said earlier, still need to have their escape. But to think that you're that important, just like the Hollywood stars out there thinking they're that freaking important, just like the Hollywood writers think that they're that freaking important, just like the studios think they're that freaking important. No, you're not. When it comes around the brass tacks, you're nothing. I know that sounds harsh, but no, you're nothing.
And Adam makes a good point. When you buy the game, it should be free online. Exactly. But see, the thing was, Sony got an ego boost when they went from PS3 to PS4 and said, okay, now we're going to charge you to play a game online that you used to be able to get for free on your PS3.
Well, I think you can blame Microsoft for starting this crap. So
I don't care who you blame. They're both responsible for
they are
making it to where gamers, even casual gamers, can't even play a game online with their friends or other people without shelling out a few more bucks, or in this case, $80.
I blame Brandon, the anime guy. There we go. Just so we can still have strife between our channels, because that's good for PR.
And I've got no problem with single-player games, Hunty. I'm right there with you.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I laugh when people are like, no, we need a multiplayer future. I'm like, no, you idiots. We need options.
Right.
In gaming, we need options. When we drive cars, we need options. I don't understand why there's a number of people that always are like, we need less options. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're out there. It's like, making decisions is hard. Well, no wonder why people have this phrase called adulting. It means that the people with the IQ of 72 have a hard time out there. And it seems like that's the majority of the people. They want to be sheep.
Man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, Steam, people always bring that one up. Well, Steam is DRM and Steam is this. Yeah, well, Steam gives you a lot and you don't have to pay extra. A lot.
Right. Well,
they have a few problems, sure. There's been some censorship. There's been some other nonsense. Yes, I can't say there hasn't been, but you still get a lot for just having just an internet connections.
Yeah, let me ask everybody this question. Do you miss being able to buy the physical copy for your PC?
Yes.
So you don't have to rely on an internet connection all the time?
I would like it. It would be nice to have that physical copy of PC like I used to buy, sure.
I would love to see a CD-ROM, Blu-ray player, recorder, whatever, in my computer again. I would like to see them come that way again. And I don't mind having the freaking disc. I don't mind having that physical copy. It makes me feel secure. And when it.
Oh, no, I was just going to add to Adam, you should just ask your wiener dogs if they, shake their heads at questions you ask them, and then probably shouldn't do it. Anyways,
I
Baron,
don't trust my
continue.
wiener dog. I don't trust my wiener dog. For me, when it comes around like the options, I like having a game that comes out that gives you both a single storyline and an online option to play together. I like that. I really do. But to have a game that's solely you need to go out there and it's a multiplayer type thing, it's like, yeah, okay, that's good for like MMOs, but they still have some storyline games for single story. And in the single story, as long as the story is good, those aren't bad either. But
and this is a valid point too. Even with the discs nowadays, you still have to have an online connection to receive the latest update.
Mm-hmm. But that's been that's been back in the day.
Yeah,
I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Apple Corporation got their nose out of the joint. There was a magazine, and I think there's other magazines that did that too. They would put out the operating system upgrades on the discs that they sent out to you. So when Apple had an upgrade for system 9.4, 9.5.5 or whatever, you got it from them. It's great. You didn't have to be connected, right? Because let's face it, the internet back in those days wasn't the greatest. You had the screaming, shrieking banshee. But then Apple got their nose out of the joint and said, you can't do that no more. The only way you can get these updates now is by downloading it from us. It's like, really? I mean, how many people don't necessarily even have the internet even in those days?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that brings up arcades. Yes, I can remember playing arcade machines and going to the change machine with either $1 bill or $5 bills if I was lucky to have a $5 bill in my wallet, and getting all the quarters and feeding that arcade cabinet. It's like, here's my quarter. Here's my quarter.
Mm-hmm. And I loved the one I went to because they'd give you five tokens for $1.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, woo! I'm coming out ahead.
Yeah, but you're there too much. You're like, how much did I spend? $5. Wow, just on this thing.
$5 is nothing because I'm such a horrible game player. I'm such a horrible game player. It's like I'd burn that out in the first 5 minutes. $5, $1 a minute. Boom.
Yep, arcade games from I mean, we've talked about this before, but I mean, there's just go to an arcade, just so many great memories. So many great memories for sure.
Mm-hmm.
From everything. Yep, playing Turtles in Time for hours and hours in an arcade.
Or even the original arcade game.
Simpsons, Samurai Showdown, even playing like the
Double
old
Dragon
Star Wars
in the arcade,
game, like the old one, like the 80s, even playing like something like Tron.
Playing Lethal Enforcers, Lethal Enforcers.
Spy Hunter, man. You actually can play Spy Hunter in
Gotham Knights.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, cool. But I mean, I'll go back, Space Invaders, Asteroids, Pac-Man. Now that's where we go. Of course, when that Star Wars, X-Wing game that they had come out where that was like, even when it was using Victor drawings, it was like, wow, this is, you're inside an X-Wing, or even Star Trek SOS where, you're piloting the Enterprise and trying to take out the nasty Klingons that's circling Uranus. I mean, it just, it was wonderful stuff. You learned etiquette because because you put the quarter on the game to mark your next turn.
Yep.
Or the token if you had tokens.
Cruising USA, that was a fun game too. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
X-Men that Adam mentioned, Donkey Kong, yes.
Well, what about the one that really was a game changer? It was Pole Position. Because it wasn't a racing game. I
love playing that game.
Yeah.
Whenever we went to Showbiz Pizza, I would always go to the Pole Position arcade cabinet. That was my favorite game growing up as a youngster.
Especially if you had one of those where you could sit inside, the sit-down ones. Oh, and then you really felt like you're the...
your hands on the steering wheel. You're shifting from low gear to high gear, and
and then the graphics in that game. Even though people laugh at it now, back in that time, especially in the background with the different scenery moving at different speeds to give you a simulated sense of 3D. So that game was so far ahead of its time that that game helped open up the doors of what developers. Hey, what can I do now? How can I best this one? How can I, if you like your, Gran Turismos or any of those racing games out there, you got to give it to pole position. If it wasn't for pole position, you wouldn't have that.
Yeah, also stuff like Area 51. I mean, it's just...
I never played that one. I don't even know that.
That was a lot of fun. Oh, really?
I only lived in Area 51. I never played it. So.
So we do have our last gaming-related article for this afternoon. And, of course, it's from Bound into the Comics. It's written by Spencer Bacall. It was posted on the 26th of this month. It says, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director teases big surprise for Remake's take on original game's most iconic scene. In further establishing the Remake series' existence in a new timeline separate from the original, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director Naoki Hamaguchi has hinted that the upcoming sequel will feature a big surprise in its depiction of the Final Fantasy VII franchise most iconic moment. Goes on to say, Hamaguchi first offered this tease regarding Cloud and crew's next adventure while speaking to the Thai video game news outlet GameBrot at the recent Thailand Game Show 2023, translated via DeepL. Broaching the topic of the remake series, numerous divergences from the original game, site writer Mohammed Faisal asked Hamaguchi, given that the development team has provided very little information about the game, many fans in the community have made various theories. The question is whether the development team is aware of the talk that has spread everywhere. How do you react to the theories of the fans? To which the director admitted, if asked whether the fan theory is true or not, we cannot explain it. Goes on to say, we as a development team see developments in the condition of fans in communities on social media, Hamaguchi added. So you could say that what you said there, we really accept it, and we feel happy about the activeness of fans in creating various kinds of theories that are discussed by the community. Following a brief note by Hamaguchi that the mini games in the Gold Saucer will still be maintained in this game, but some mini games, such as the snowboard, are still inaccessible considering the storyline in this game covers up to the Forgotten Capital location. We will include them in the next game. Frizel took note of his mention of the latter location and pressed, as you know, the Forgotten Capital location is the most historic moment in Final Fantasy VII series, making vague reference to the outcome of the now famous confrontation between Cloud and Sephiroth and the game's resident White Mage. Razel then asserted, you know, the moment where Aerith is it. And I'm not even going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't played Final Fantasy VII, but for those who have, you know what moment that's referencing. That moment left many gamers in shock in the original version before finally asking, what do you think about the reaction of gamers to that moment? And there is some kind of twist regarding it, the it thing. In turn,
Here it is. I'm going to ruin it. The butler did it.
Well, the weird thing is that Sephiroth, yes, he's not supposed to show up in the first part, or at least that soon. Crit and I have had this discussion, but the way they did it, I guess Zathras, yes, not Zathras, but Zathras.
Zathras in game.
But he's not
Good
supposed to
addition.
show up that soon in the game, and so it's like, well, that's weird. They changed that, but I guess it worked out pretty well. So I don't know if you knew that or not, Mike. You probably didn't play the original.
I didn't play the original, but I read up on it, what actually happens in the original, so I am aware of what happens and what is supposed to happen as opposed to what did happen in the remake.
Listen to Cash flex his geek muscles there. Good job, man.
In turn, Hamaguchi revealed so that question, and for all the gamers regarding the you know what moment, we can confirm that we will be giving a big surprise, so you can look forward to that in the game. Though Hamaguchi unsurprisingly refrained from providing any further details regarding exactly how Reunion will differentiate its take on the Forgotten Capital meetings, given how the series' most explicit use of its new timeline was to save Zack Blair from perishing at the hands of Shinra, it's not out of the realm of possibility to speculate that Aerith may end up. Okay, this is a spoiler, folks. So let me go ahead and put up the spoiler banner.
Not only that, we have to do this too. There.
Thank you, but Aerith may end up surviving the entire encounter.
Well, actually, the thing is,
it added more weight in the original story.
It did, but the thing is that Aerith is your best healer. Having her go away made a lot of people upset. I didn't know that until later on. I was like, oh crap. Dang it! Don't take it away.
Alternatively, in light of how heavily Final Fantasy Remake hints that Aerith is actively aware of how events should play out, one could also make an educated guess that Rebirth's big surprise could see the heroine willingly throw herself into her fate rather than meeting her end at the hands of a surprise attack. Whatever the change,
herself into the arms of Cash Money.
Oh no!
I bet Cash would like that.
Yeah.
Whatever the change, fans can expect to receive a definitive answer to the mystery when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth hits PS5 consoles in February of next year, which is February 29th, because next year is a leap year.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun.
See, bound into the comics, you still find articles that we're interested in. Good job.
Good job. We're still going to criticize them though when they deserve criticism.
Didn't say we're blind. Well, we are. I've never played any of the Final Fantasies, so I'm completely ignorant in all this. Maybe one of these days I should, but I guess I get a little jaded because you have Final Fantasy, then Final Fantasy 2, 3, 4. Wait a moment, you're lying to me. You said Final Fantasy, then why are these other Final? It's like a never-ending story. Why did it end? It has to keep going.
It's great.
I tell you, I get lied to all the time. I have trust issues.
We need to go to a panel of Square Enix. I told you. You said it was the final one. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, when is this the final Fantasy?
Come on, man. Is this the final one? No? What about this one?
50
no?
years from now. Yeah. Fans have waited for years. Yeah. But unfortunately, for most of Generation X, they're gone. They won't be able to see this ending.
But yeah, if you want to get
final installment of Final Fantasy.
If you want to get into that series, I'd probably recommend starting with the original 7, or maybe even the remake. Baron would probably be fine for you.
Yeah. And you're welcome for sharing the links, Adam. But yeah, you know what? I'd almost say, play the original on the NES. That's if you can find a copy and an NES to play it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the clone systems, but you hear the sound in the clone systems, you see the color, and you immediately know, especially as someone who owned an NES, going, uh, the color's off, the sound is off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is true. Hunty is right about that. Yes. Yeah, you don't have to play them in any kind of order, really. No.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Final
more
Fantasy
life.
3 here is actually Final Fantasy 6.
Yep.
I'm having trust issues again here. I'm having some trust issues again.
So, Baron, speaking of games, what
No.
what would you? I'm guessing you probably, out of a lot of the group, have put in the most time into Starfield. I haven't played that in a while, so
Yeah, I actually haven't played in a little bit, but
Oh,
I
you
need
haven't?
to get back
Okay.
and play a little bit. Yeah, I've been kind of busy with stuff, so I
Right,
really
right.
haven't. I mean, I'm still trying to play the other games I got there too. The Cyberpunk I got, and of course that being the communist gatekeeper, and basically an animated version of Papers, Please. It's like I like locking people up in those communist countries.
But
it reminds me of Dear Leader, who is a glorious. He has
Oh,
granted us
no.
another glorious day. By the way, he has granted us another glorious day. So we must thank him for his graciousness to do so.
Yeah, right. But I'm not. I don't think people should give up on Starfield. I know it's got some problems, but it definitely needs vehicles. It'll be interesting to see what would you really like them to add, or maybe you want
Vehicles.
modders add. Is it just the vehicles?
I would like to see vehicles, and this is going to sound crazy. I would love them again. I'd love them to have a co-op version. You have GTA 5 online. I'd love to see them have a version of that where you people are running around in that universe and having fun together, or fighting each other and taking factions and such like that. I think that'd be fun. I don't think that'll happen, but vehicles definitely. I think vehicles are an important thing. I know people were let down on that.
Right. What do you think about the facial structures? Do you like the faces on the men and the women and stuff, or would you like them to be better?
I'd like to have them touch those up a bit. I really would.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes it's you're looking at them, and it's like a little creepy sometimes, especially the random NPCs that are running around there. It's like,
and didn't we have better facial expressions before in older games? It seems like we did, and it seems like now they seem to be lazy about it. And sometimes they look like like Spider-Man, for example. But there's other stuff out there too that looks like, did they do some crack or what happened?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, there have been modders that have been fixing that. Even though I do know the big favorite is putting a bootay on that one person that follows you around.
Yeah.
I guess we know where the modder's mindset is, and we're going to look at her butt. Better be nice.
Yeah.
But I know they've been doing some. Modders have done little changes here and there for
I'm sure
the actual facial structure and all that. Yeah. So I mean, I hope as they go along, there'll be little upgrades that they put in there, with and such. And this game has the potential to be really, really fantastic. It just, it's on the ground level. Let's rock it out now. Let's have you got the big one out now. Now you can focus on some of the other things.
Yeah, I just wish, I think Starfield's a pretty good example of a game that launched pretty well, but I just wish this other stuff, from the Konami collection, like all those games should be upgraded. And they should give you maybe even the GameCube version. I know some people don't like that one, but I think most people do. But all these games, especially these older games, should get a graphical. The graphics should be updated, and I think the modders are going to do stuff with Metal Gear Solid 1, just like they did with the emulators on PC, and go from there. But if you buy these games on console, you can't do that.
No.
So I would say it's probably the best to buy the Konami collection on PC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a PC guy as it goes along. I mean, It's my preference because I just find it easier for me personally. I have nothing against someone who's going out there with their consoles. It's
Right.
like, yeah, that's the way that's easy for you. That's the way you know how to play it. It's how you feel comfortable. It's a shame that their options, however, are so small when it comes around to that modding. In fact, I was talking to my daughter yesterday, not yesterday, but the other day, and she was calling her fiance on the phone, saying, "Did you put the Xbox on Marketplace yet?" And all that. And it's like I kind of go, "What's going on here? What are you doing that?" She goes, "Well, we don't play the Xbox much anymore, primarily because one of the big, she's got a nice computer, and it's modding. That's her big, she's like, I like to have that modding options. So this could be a problem for consoles in the near future unless they find a way to have modding."
Yeah.
And of course, you can still play with the controller on the PC. A lot of people do that. So it's like, okay, I have the best of both worlds here. I got a great computer. I got my controller. I'm having a great time here, and I got 2 monitors. And it's like, okay, consoles should start getting a little worried here, I think, in the near future.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, I prefer to play certain games with a gamepad as opposed to using the keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And I guess it just depends on how you grew up with the computers. I'm old enough, old enough to go back that we didn't have those options. So if you're playing a computer game, well, yeah, you might have a joystick or something, but when it comes down to it, it's the keyboards.
Mm-hmm. And our next story here on this edition of Pop Talk is from Bounding into Comics. It's by John F. Trent. It was posted on their site on the 26th.
I'd love to get him on the show sometime. That'd be a fascinating thing.
Yeah. Well, who knows? So I'll see what I can do next year, and who knows?
Will he handle our shenanigans?
But we have this article from Battle in the Comics that says Hunger Games actress Rachel Zegler plays victim, claims she only received backlash for being outspoken.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel, you're gonna need to go to the basement with Milton.
Yeah.
Actress Rachel Zegler. No, probably not. Actress Rachel Zegler, who plays Lucy Gray Baird in the upcoming The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, recently addressed the backlash she's received for her comments about Snow White, as well as her defamation of actors Jeremy Renner and Gina Carano. The Wrap listed Zegler as one of their trailblazers for their Latino Power List 2023. As part of her entry, Zegler informed the outlet, "It's an honor to be recognized in a way that both celebrates our heritage and lifts up the contributions we all make to this industry, where it can be particularly hard for us to be seen and heard in a meaningful way." She continued, "I still don't think I'm quite ready for the life I already have, despite being extremely grateful for it and for every opportunity it has brought me." Grateful? You sure didn't seem grateful in that interview where you were talking about Snow White, and at one point you did go, "It's weird. It's weird." Zegler then shared some advice for those seeking to become actors in Hollywood. To young Latino performers coming up in the industry, I would tell them to know their worth and to make sure they're loud about having seats at the table they deserve to be at. Finally, she addressed the backlash she received while positioning herself as a victim. I have learned the hard way that we have to be fearless and loud in order to be heard, and to prepare for the backlash that occasionally comes with that outspokenness. No, you're just another Hollywood twat who speaks out, and people are tired of hearing what you and so many in Hollywood have to say.
Yeah, you don't have to speak loud. You have to speak intelligently.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference.
Or speak softly, but carry a big stick.
Exactly, because usually if you're having to speak loud, it means that all you are is just bullying people into, you don't want to hear anything else but yours, and how dare you think otherwise. And I'm going to bully you into believing what I have. If you don't, well, you're a phobe and all that other fun stuff.
Yep. Zegler, who will play Snow White in an upcoming live-action film from the Walt Disney Company, became infamous after numerous comments resurfaced of her deriding the original animated Disney film following a set leak depicting Disney's modernized Seven Dwarfs. The actress has routinely been criticized for her comments describing the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs animated film as dated, disparaging the prince as a stalker, and taking issue with the film's love story. Not only that, but she's revealed the upcoming live action film is changing the definition of fair, appears to remove the entire moral lesson on vanity, and will instead be some kind of story about Snow White's inner struggle and desire to be a good leader.
Yeah, I wonder why you had a backlash there, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, sweetheart. Keep that fly trap shut.
And T-Gap's right. She revealed to Extra TV her thoughts about The Prince. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. No, there's not. There's more focus on her time with the dwarves and helping them out than there is on the love story between her and the prince.
Yeah, escaping and hiding. The prince hardly had any time.
Yeah.
He just came in at the end. After the dwarves put her in the glass coffin.
Yeah. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. He doesn't stalk her. And that's where her weird comments came in. No, you twat.
She wishes she had a stalker. That's the trouble.
When asked if the prince would even be in the film, Zegler answered, "We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. Great dude. Yeah, that's what I want to hear from my co-stars say to me about me. Great dude. Uh-huh. I mean, look how arrogant she looks on stage here."
Oh, weak.
Zegler then revealed, and I know I've said that before. Zegler then revealed what the film is really about. It's an inner journey that she goes on to find her true self, and she meets a lot of people along the way that make the journey really incredible.
No, the journey is about trying to keep your ass alive.
Mm-hmm.
From a psychopathic woman in the castle that talks to mirrors.
Yep. She made similar comments to Variety when asked why she described the movie as having a modern edge. She said, "I just mean it's no longer 1937. Well, no shit. No shit, Rachel.
Yeah.
You know what? I know you already played it, Barrett, but it's worth playing it again. Hey, Rachel.
What the hell you say?
Well, that is the most used clip we have because it's the most apt for many of these walnuts.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White. You're not taking the Snow White from the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale. That's what it is. Fairy tale.
That's Hans Christian Andersen, the Grimm Brothers story.
Yeah. Well, you know what I meant.
I just want to make sure that
I know what I meant.
People can't come back. I'm helping you, man.
Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen in the upcoming live-action adaptation, interjected, "She's not going to be saved by the prince. She never really was. If anything, if you want to give credit for saving her, it's the dwarves who took her into their house so she wasn't killed."
Not only that,
Yeah.
the woodsman.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, the
woodsman that was
prince.
sent out to kill her.
The prince came along and gave her the kiss that brought her out of her coma.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it was the dwarves, and like Baron said, the huntsman who helped out. And let's see, Zegler then affirmed she's not going to be saved by the prince. She's not going to be dreaming about true love. And you know what? I'm not going to read the rest of this because this is pretty much the same as the article when we first started talking about this a few months back.
Well, yeah, nothing's changed. And what's wrong with wanting true love? What's wrong with that? Honestly, don't we want to have a partner of some sort that we always dream of, no matter where we go? Men or women? Of course, men don't want to admit it because women's got cooties. They also got hooters, but that's beside the point. But when it comes right down to it, everybody wants to have that true love. If you really went down to admit it, what is wrong with that?
It's wrong because they want to find something wrong with it for whatever reason. It doesn't matter how many years it is later or sooner or whatever. This has to all be changed. This is wrong. You look at something like Frozen, for example. It's like she doesn't need a man to succeed in her life. Well, who said she did? But that's basically what the story is to an extent. It's just funny, but it's sad too.
I got news for these swap waffles. We all need each other in this world.
Yes.
Women need men. Men need women. I'm not talking about romance, sex, anything like that.
Right.
It's absolutely proven that there are differences between men and women. And if you just leave it to the one completely, shit happens. You need to balance each other out. There's different ways of thinking, approaches, even levels of pain. I mean, for crying out loud, women can handle pain better than men. Especially when they go out and pass a watermelon through that that opening that they have after giving birth. And listen to how men bitch and whine and moan when they get a cold, and the women just roll their eyes.
Well, like it's just going back to the whole thing that we've talked about before about banter and so on. Like they don't care about these things that used to matter, and they always made interesting dialogue. It's like, oh, well, the woman has to now be stronger than the man. Why can't they both be strong? It's the same thing with Spider-Man. Why does one have to become more important than the other? Why can't Miles and Peter always be great together? Because they work together and they're supposed to kill Venom or whatever. Why can't they? No, they have to always change this. It's just it's that arrogance. To me, it's always that arrogance. It has to be this way. Why? And when you ask them why, oh, well, you're a da. And so then they start, because it hurts their feelings so much, they start attacking you, and it's just, it's very unfortunate. And the only reason I think like the Daily Wire or any of these other people that want to make some kind of Snow White is they're just like, oh yeah, you want to act like this? Well, we're going to do this, just to shove it down their throat and stuff. Not that people want to act like that, but it's just the Disney and a lot of these other different companies, they can't stop doing this stuff. If it's DC or Marvel, and look who's owned by them. It's unfortunate. It really is. It's always unfortunate that it has to always be one way. It can never be the other. And we keep going in a circle with this. It's like, why not? Why can't a woman be a vampire? Why can't a vampire love this? Or just as an example, why would people think that like sparkly vampires is a good thing? That's not what I would ever associate with vampires, for example. All this stuff is just crazy. And they want to change this all the time. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but here's something we do get. Our first look at Rachel Zegler as Snow White.
Yeah.
This
But-
is from Cosmic
Listen.
Book News. It's by Matt McGloin. It was posted Friday.
Oh, and remember, guys, her skin is actually white as snow. I know, it's hurtful to certain people, but
Oh my God! How dare you? You know, I don't mean to be mean. I really don't mean to be mean. I don't think she's that good looking. Honestly. I really don't. And you know what? I think part of it is her attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It just oozes through. That whatever physical beauty that there is gets lost because you can see the smarmy arrogance. It's like you see with a woman can see with a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, your attitude, the way you carry yourself, says everything about you.
Right.
yes.
And playing victim card. Oh my, that's really original. Yeah. Yeah. Goes back
And
to
of course-
me, poor me, poor me. It's me.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm me.
And of course, they're attributing the delay to the actress strike in Hollywood.
Good.
And the article starts off like this. Check out the first official look at Rachel Zegler in Snow White, which comes with the news that Disney has delayed the release date by a year. The live-action Snow White movie, which also stars Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen, moves from March 22nd, 2024 to March 21st, 2025. While there were rumors the flick would actually be canceled, as we reported, that isn't the case. Well, it's not too late. It's still going to be another year delayed. So, in between now and 2025, who knows? Disney could cancel it. I'm not counting my hopes up. The Cubs will win a World Series before that happens.
Well, there's always next year.
Yeah. Well, there were. I'm not saying the Cubs actually are going to do it. I'm just saying. Well, there were rumors the flick would actually be canceled. Blah, blah, blah. It's not actually happening. Marvel's Deadpool 3 has been delayed, and recently saw it said Sony's Venom 3 will be delayed in addition to a lot of projects to come out of Tinseltown. Since the actors are on strike, they obviously can't work. So in the case of Deadpool 3, it's only half finished, and Venom 3 was in pre-production prior to the strike. Snow White might not be finished filming as well and could need reshoots. Rachel Zegler recently had to bow out of the new Paddington movie due to the strikes, with it thought because she will have upcoming schedule conflicts. Yeah, well, probably because they chose to go on strike.
Man.
I don't feel sorry for them, just like I didn't feel sorry for the writers.
No.
Regarding
and I'll
when
tell you, I'm telling you what too. A lot of these actors are finding out what big support they're getting from the big guys. They're whining that the big stars aren't out there because they have nothing to lose. They already got their millions basically.
Mm-hmm.
They can ride this all out, and these other actors that
Right.
they need these jobs. They're not the big A-listers or whatever. They're starting to see the division within their own community, you might say, of the haves and the have-nots.
Well,
George Clooney couldn't care.
right.
George Clooney could care less. Tom Hanks could care less. A lot of these guys could care less.
like you said, they have their money.
Well, it's
Right.
just like the story of Snow White, like Peter Dinklage. I want to say Dinkleberry again. I just can't.
Yeah.
But
I'm not stopping
he's
you.
no, I know, but he says this stuff. It's like, dude, that's not even true about the story. Just go back and do a little research, man.
Research,
That's right. I know.
Research.
The dwarves do not live in a cave. They live in a cottage, dude.
Very interesting, but stupid.
Yeah, they work in a cave because that's where the diamonds are.
It's called a diamond mine.
Yeah. It's called employment, which you're not having right now, Dinklage, because why? You got a strike. Sorry, that was mean. What's that mean?
Nah.
Oh, darn. I was hoping it would be.
The author goes on to say, regarding when the strike will end, I've been told by the end of the year, so we'll have to wait and see how things play out. I doubt that. I think it's going to go into next year. I have no proof, but it's just my thoughts on it.
I'm rooting for it to go into next year. Well, all depends on how pissed off they get at Fran Drescher, because I'm hearing that they're getting upset with her. But particularly what I was just saying about, a lot of these actors are really starting to hit hard times now. They've been out there, some of them have been on the picket lines every day, and they don't see these big stars. They only get the platitudes from The Rock and Orca Winfrey saying, we're going to give $1 million to this fund to help them out. It's like, yeah, okay. You're feeling the pain, aren't you, Orca?
It's like you want to go, you're an audience member at these panels. It's like, do you guys understand that you cause a lot of problems to yourselves and maybe you shouldn't? And they'll be like, well, what problems do we cause? I can picture it all in my head now. And it's like, you cause these problems, your greed, your arrogance. Like, why do you keep doing this stuff? You make up these things that aren't even true. Like, it's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so it says, what is the live action Snow White about? Disney hasn't released official info, but thanks to what Rachel Zegler has said, it's an updated take on the classic story and animated movie from 1937. And by updated, it sounds like it will be nothing like it. Well, of course.
Yeah,
bingo.
basically.
Tell Matt McGloin what he won. A whole lot of nothing.
Well, it's like, okay, here's what it's about. It's a shit show. There.
Lots of controversy. Excuse me. Rachel Zegler has been causing controversy with her recent Snow White comments, where she went so far as to say she didn't like the original animated movie by Walt Disney. Don't need to read her quote. I think we've read it enough.
Yeah, we know what the.
Yeah, all these are the same quotes, so I'm not going to read them. But I am going to recommend. I am going to recommend the South Park special. Joining the Pandaverse.
Well, that's just it. I hate this property, so I'm going to go in there and change it. That is exactly what is the problem we've been having. She just admitted it, though. She was at least woman enough to go out there and admit, I hate the property, but I want to change it. Well, bravo for you. At least you're being honest in that sense. More than what a lot of the others are doing.
That's true. But honesty only goes so far in Hollywood.
Oh, I know. Well, it seems like talent, too. They don't want talent. They want, I don't know what they want.
They want people that meet their check boxes.
Right. Checkbox, yeah.
But speaking of Hollywood, we do have some sad news to talk about this morning. The first of our two stories, Richard Mole, who played Bull the Bailiff on Night Court, has passed away at the age of 80.
That hurt. That one really hurt. And the biggest surprise I had is that he was 80. I didn't think he was that old. He always seemed so youthful,
Let me get it over on the Rumble side. And I do want to say hello to all 10 of you who are watching over on Rumble. And
hi, Rumblers.
The 5 of you who are watching on YouTube at the moment. So that makes 15 people watching at this time. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that like button.
Great. Now I got stage fright. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm scared now.
He keeps
He's
telling
not scared,
me about.
Folks. He's not scared.
He keeps telling me about the wolves outside, and I checked for him, but I didn't see any this time, so I don't know.
No, Pablo Hidalgo's under my bed.
Careful. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. Disney's gonna get you, Baron.
I know.
So
I know.
this article came out on Friday, and it's by Pat Superstein or Samperstein. And it says Richard Mole, who played Bull the bailiff on Night Court, dies at 80. And, and I had heard that he was asked about coming back for the remake, and he declined.
Mm-hmm.
Actor Richard Mole died Thursday at his home in Big Bear Lake, California. Oh, I got many memories going to Big Bear with my father. He was 80. The deep voice, 6'8" actor was best known for the role of the bailiff Bull Shannon in Night Court, co-starring Harry Anderson and John Larroquette from 1984 to 1992. Mole was nominated for a Saturn Award for the 1985 horror movie House. He voiced the role of Harvey Dent, Two-Face in The Adventures of Batman and Robin, as well as Scorpion on Spider-Man The Animated Adventures. He also had parts in The Flintstones, Jingle All the Way, Casper Meets Wendy, and Scary Movie 2. He had a recurring role on the sitcom Getting By, starring Cindy Williams, and voiced the bodyguard in Mighty Max. Mole went on to appear in the 1999 satire, but I'm a Cheerleader with Natasha Lyonne, in which he played a gay man who shepherded teenagers sent to a re-education camp by parents who suspected they were homosexual. His other television appearances included Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Seventh Heaven, and Smallville. After appearing in the horror movie Nightmare Man in 2006, he starred in Thomas Kincaid's Christmas Cottage opposite Peter O'Toole, Marcia Gay Harden, and Ed Addison, and later appeared in Cold Case and Anger Management. He appeared in made-for-television films, including No Place Like Home, The Headless Horseman, and it says that he was born in Pasadena on January 13th, 1943. He graduated UC Berkeley and began acting at the Wheel Gear Theater Performing Arts in works of Shakespeare. The actor was an avid bird watcher and nature lover and retired to Big Bear Lake. Well, I can't think of a better place to be. It's beautiful there. He is survived by his children, Chloe and Mason Mole, ex-wife Susan Mole, and stepchildren, Cassandra Card and Morgan Osley.
How cool is it, though, that he also got to play Two-Face, man, in one of the greatest animated shows ever?
Yes.
If not the greatest.
He was also...
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the Highlander TV series. In fact, I think he was in the first episode with Christopher Lambert. And he was also in Babylon 5. He was in a lot of stuff. He played a lot of heavies. Like Bull was kind of that odd thing that he had because he was playing heavies, and now he's playing this lovable giant.
Yeah, at least I see the person who wrote this from Variety didn't say, "Oh, he wasn't much to look at," huh? Variety?
Yeah, it wasn't like the author of last week's article about Burt Young.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Well, they got a better writer this time. It's not the same one, I think. So.
No, it's a different person. But yeah,
see, this was an appropriate obituary for an actor.
Yes,
not like what that author wrote for the article we read last week about Burt Young and making little digs and
right.
Yeah,
that was so ridiculous.
That was inappropriate.
It should be
wow, dude.
Yeah, it should be fired.
I agree.
That's just because they're horrible at their job.
That's why it's so easy to mock a lot of this media stuff. If it's IGN or something, they go out of their way to make themselves look like idiots.
But I mean, I wonder if he declined coming back to Night Court because he wasn't in good health. I wonder if that's the reason why.
Might have been.
I don't know.
I mean, it could be any reason. It could be the way his character arc ended in the original series. Maybe he felt because his character went into space, there was really no reason for his character to even come back.
Right. Yeah, I mean that show was so good. That show was so good, and part of it was him. I mean, obviously with the rest of the cast too.
Oh yeah, John Larroquette.
When they got,
yeah,
when they finally got that switching cast members around here and there in the beginning, and they finally got that right chemistry. And he was with it from day one. I mean, you cannot think of Night Court without him.
No.
Yeah, I haven't watched the new Night Court. I've only seen clips. So
No.
I can't really say what.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, I you can tell John Larroquette is still doing great, but
oh yeah,
it's just kind of hard to come back to shows like that, especially when Harry Anderson's gone and Mark is gone, Charlie Robinson's gone.
I know they want to try, but it's just like I don't know. Let's bring back Night Court and let's do it like this. It's like it probably won't be the same, but I don't know. A lot of these shows that are coming back, Equalizer, it's like, man, that was a number of years ago. The original was on, and but then it's like,
and I'll be honest, Cash. When it comes to the Equalizer, I'd rather watch the original series and the movies with Denzel Washington.
Right, I get that. Yeah, I understand that. It's unfortunate when these things come back, but all they need to do is just follow what Hawaii Five-O did and just advance the characters, the background, the everything. That's what you got to do. But no, they have to change all these things instead of just yes, they changed a few things, but it was still really interesting. So you can change a few things, even characters like, oh, we're going to make this man now a woman and stuff, but it needs to still, what background is it? Like, what's going on with these characters? And so when you see what they've done with Magnum PI, and that show's still on the air, you just go, what? It's just like when Knight Rider came back. It was like, it's not the same. Charlie's Angels comes back. It's not the same. Like the first movie was good. Then the second movie was all over the place. And it's just, okay, but you guys have something good here. Build on that. But it's just, they start going crazy with things. It doesn't work. And I don't know. But
one of the
for
problems
some reason, Magnum PI is still on. It's still on the air. So people are watching it, I guess. It's just.
All right, something. But I mean, it comes down to the other factor too is there's big holes in shows, and Mole is the perfect example of that. I mean, he was a big part of that show, and not having him part of that show in any way, shape, and form would leave it a hole.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, everybody in that show worked together, and losing that group that they finally got would weaken it. They had that chemistry, and you could see that with Richard Mole and how good he was, and that he was. People might think that's all he was, is this being able to play this big dumb guy. No, he was the heavy. This was a nice, pleasant change for him, and it shows that he does have that range, especially with that voice and be able to do that with the animation. And not having Mole back. You need to have a mole-like character, a bull-like character, I should say, the innocence, and he could play that innocent. Yeah, he was this big guy who could crush anybody's head in a heartbeat.
Right.
But he was almost like he was a simple man, not a simpleton, a simple man. The character was playing, and he did it right.
Yeah. Just like Burt Young, he was a good character actor.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. He had a lot of range. And so, yeah, I would definitely fire that person who said that. Like, that's just disrespectful.
I mean, somebody else could have taken the role of Bull and played it as a buffoon, played him as a complete total buffoon, and you would not have an endearing character.
Right.
Mole put so much of himself into that character and made him a simple man, not a simpleton. Where others would have done the simpleton, and it would have gotten old fast.
That would have been the easy way out to make it the simpleton.
Right. And you want to be friends with Bull. You want to hang around with Bull. You want to have laughs with Bull and just hope he doesn't slap you in the back when you make a joke. It's one of those characters that you liked, a character on television, whatever, you'd like to meet. And maybe in some ways that was Richard Mole putting himself into that role so much.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleness that he had in life. I mean, you have to be pretty gentle to be a bird watcher and patient.
Yeah,
You know?
Obviously he was, if that was one of his hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
this one hurts.
Yeah, no, a lot of these hurt, man. A lot of them hurt. I mean,
Well,
we've now lost
they all
four
hurt. But I mean, this
characters
one
that,
really does.
right. Yeah, it sucks, man, but it really does. And growing up watching Night Court, just another quality show, man, on NBC.
Yep.
But there's another show on NBC that also lost somebody.
Yes.
And this will be the last article for this afternoon's edition of Pop Talk.
Was that an NBC show?
Yes,
I
Friends was an NBC show.
Yeah, Friends is very popular. Yes,
And,
still.
Yeah, it was extremely.
I'll admit,
still popular.
I wasn't a big fan of Friends.
No.
I just
right. That's fine.
Didn't care for it. Plus, Deep Space Nine was on Thursdays, so
it's
you know where I went.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's okay.
Yeah,
I remember watching The Block, man. Friends, Frasier, what was it, Seinfeld? I mean, that was growing up in the 90s.
Yeah.
But
I didn't like Friends, so I didn't care. But
I know you didn't, man. That's
I'm
okay.
fully
But
aware.
I know the cast was
who
a big
they all
cast.
are, and yeah.
Yes.
And this is from the New York Post. Let me just make sure I posted it over on the Rumble side real quick. Yes, I did. It says Friends star Matthew Perry dead at age 54 of apparent drowning report. This article is by Andrew Court and excuse me, Patrick Riley. And it has since been updated since I looked at it last night. So it says Matthew Perry has died at age 54. TMZ has reported the beloved Friends star was reported. Excuse me, sorry. One moment.
54. That's 1 year younger than me. That it's like whoa. It makes you sit back. It's like wow.
Yeah, he just turned 54 this past August.
Wow.
But it says the beloved Friends star was reportedly found dead in the jacuzzi of his home in ritzy Pacific Palisades neighborhood of Los Angeles just after 4 p.m. on Saturday. Law enforcement sources told TMZ that first responders rushed to the address after a call reporting a cardiac arrest. It's currently unclear who phoned 911. The sources said no drugs were found at the scene and no foul play is suspected. In a statement, the Los Angeles Police Department told the Post, "We responded to the 1800 block of Blue Cell Road for a death investigation on a male 4:10 p.m. this afternoon. He was in his 50s. Perry, who was not married and had no children, had a long history of drug and alcohol abuse. He opened up about his decades-long battle with addiction in a memoir titled Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, which was published last year. Sorry, I gotta pause real quick.
No problem. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know about that book, to be honest.
I didn't know about it either.
I mean, no offense to Mr. Perry or any of that, but a lot of these stars put out these memoirs, and I never heard of them. And then, to be honest, I never really care about them. The memoirs, because I like I like their trade. I appreciate them for their skills that they do. I don't want to necessarily get into their private lives and dig into that, because I believe they have that privilege. Now, obviously, when they write a book, they're willing to let you in so far, but still, I like to have that, a little bit of that detachment, that never meet your heroes type of thing. And again, it's no offense to Mr. Perry, hardly the case. I mean, I'm talking about everybody. Even if Arnold Schwarzenegger or Tom Selleck put out some sort of book, I wouldn't want to read it.
Yeah. And I'm like you, Baron. I have no interest in knowing their personal life and
Mhm.
their personal battles.
Mhm.
As far as their personal battles, that's private stuff.
Yeah, and people
Right.
going around on social media making these claims about this and that. We don't know. Yes, it's possible. Yes, any of this stuff is possible, but we don't know for sure yet. And yes, he's had alcohol problems. He's had drug problems. He ran into a house one time, but people
Oh
can still
yeah.
get clean. But there's always problems. Look at what happened with Chris Cornell. He was clean for a number of years. Look at what happened with Robin Williams, and then things
Mhm.
happened. But from what I had heard on the news yesterday, one of his friends said a few weeks ago he was doing well with like he wasn't
Mhm.
drinking. So I don't know. Maybe something else happened. Who knows? We'll
Well,
probably
I
know
mean,
more in a few weeks. So
right,
yeah,
and
or sooner.
okay,
He could
if you
have had
want,
an underlying heart condition too that he didn't even know
Exactly.
about.
Exactly. Yes, it's
and that's what I was just.
possible. Right. And it's possible that COVID had something to do. We don't know. But the thing is, putting out that information is
Mhm.
it's all conspiracy theories until we
Right.
actually know what happened.
Well, it's not necessarily a conspiracy theory. It's just
Well,
speculation,
yeah, all
and
right.
and
Maybe I'm going a
and
little too far on that.
yeah, I mean, the conspiracy theory would be that
Right.
someone
Well, I mean,
decided to
people
do
are
this
putting out
in the grassy
conspiracy
knoll, and
theories though, because he says he's going to expose something with Hollywood, and they didn't want him to. I'm like, who's putting this stuff out? Come on, guys.
right,
Like,
yeah, that's
that
conspiracy
kind
theory.
of
Yeah.
stuff is just like what?
But the
You
thing
know.
is what they always sit back and say about hot tubs. You have to be careful, and because especially with a heart problem, whatever. Sometimes doing a lot of drugs and alcohol does physical damage that you don't know about. So I mean, this could be completely 100% innocent death with, like you said, people did not knowing that there was this underlying problem that you
Right.
have. And
Right.
I've heard many stories
Mhm.
where someone was in. I mean, Orville Redenbacher, the popcorn king. That's where he died. He died in a hot tub.
Yeah. Right. And
So
the
I
other
mean,
thing is that people, especially at younger age, you see with the Disney kids, you see this stuff, things that they rebel against, and then you see what happens to them now if they're worshiping the devil,
mhm,
whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do, but it seems to be a pattern with them uh,
mhm.
and some of
Right.
this other stuff that is going on, unfortunately. And Hollywood can bring in a lot of problems. And
Right.
it's just like, just be honest with us. You knew that these people were doing these things in your business, and you didn't say
Mhm.
anything because they were bringing in
Right.
money and they were doing this. Just be honest with us. Just say that, but they can't. They have to go
Well,
spin it around, blame the fans, whatever, or
right.
say
Or
that they're fixing things. Are you really fixing things though? That's the question. Are you really
mhm.
fixing things? But yeah,
Mhm.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of them also are scared. They're threatened. They're
yes, yes,
actually get the full fledged. I mean, this is not conspiracy theory stuff right here. We
right.
know that there have been people that have been threatened to keep their
Hmm.
mouth shut, and I don't think Matthew Perry was one of them that was
Hmm.
threatened that way.
Yep.
I think this is one of
Yes.
those really sad things. And again,
Right.
anybody, and here's a public service announcement: anybody who goes into hot tubs or saunas, uh, be careful. Make sure things are okay
Yes.
because it can go south. Especially, they
Right.
always sit back and say, if you're pregnant, don't go in one. Okay, I
Right.
Mhm.
got you. I don't have to worry about that. But you know, but
Yeah.
hot tubs can still be problematic, and
Yeah.
Yes.
people shouldn't shy away from them. But
You
you
know.
know,
Yeah.
just pay attention. You never
And
know,
when you're
and
in,
sometimes being in a
yeah.
hot tub by yourself isn't a good thing.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But yeah,
Yeah, you need a hot babe with you or two.
he's right. He had problems and stuff, and I don't know. Also, he's advocate for certain things. No, I'm not going to go into him, YouTube. I don't want you to get all uppity
Mhm.
pupty about it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Get crazy about something else, because don't talk about this and don't talk about that, even though it's in the damn article. Uh, but yeah, Matthew Perry was popular on Friends. He went on to do other
Mhm.
stuff. He did 90210. He was in that first
Yeah.
movies, first what was that film called? the whole 9 yards, right? The first one, not the second. The first one is good, but the second one I never really watched. But yeah, Matthew Perry, it's just it's tragic, but he's had problems unfortunately in his life, like other people do, and with drugs and alcohol, and so he could have
a lot of people in
relapsed.
Hollywood.
Unfortunately,
yeah. I'm suspecting maybe not. They said they didn't find any drugs around, so
no, they didn't.
That's good. Of course, they got to do the autopsy,
right?
But,
we don't know, but I think
the autopsy will tell us what we need to know.
I have to agree with some of the other people in our group, or some of the people within this community, that saying these things that it's connected to COVID or it's connected to this. It's like, you guys don't know. Yes, there's a possibility because people are they're an advocate for this stuff, but we don't know. And just speculating, we're not going to get where we want to go with that information.
Yeah, well, it's just like with Jonathan Majors. None of us have any evidence as to what happened.
Right.
Exactly.
And there's, people that can say, oh, I've seen video, I've seen this, I've heard this, I've heard that. Well, that sounds like rumor and speculation to me, and I'm not going to talk about rumor and speculation when I don't know, and nobody else has the answers.
I mean, we honestly don't know what was with. Again, we can speculate on some stuff, and I'm speculating if there's a plus side in death, that it wasn't something where he, had a relapse or whatever. Any death is horrible. I will go into the conspiracy thing though too. He went to school with Justin Trudeau. He knew the secret. He knew that Fidel Castro was really his dad. That's the reason why it happened. This is why it happened. Is that good for conspiracy theory? Did I do a good job?
It sounds like conspiracy theory, and even Hunty's even mentioning hearsay. Yeah, you don't go by hearsay. You wait till actual facts come out.
Yes. Right. And people want to jump on this. It's like, oh, he's exposing this or he's doing this. It's like, you don't know, and you're probably just doing this for clicks. What are you guys doing, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know him in his personal life or anything like that. Again, like I said, obviously it's different if you become friends with somebody who happens to be in these positions. But again, just like I don't want necessarily someone coming into my life and going through with a fine-tooth comb, I do respect these actors and actresses enough to keep that separation and to keep things professional and talk. When you go to conventions or whatever. No, just to give kind of a side thing, the late June Foray, her first, I think, only time she was in the Twin Cities, I was able to see her, and everybody, we're going through there, and she made mention that she never had children, and all these people kept on asking questions about children. It's like, will you please shut up? There might be a reason behind this that she didn't. I want to hear more about her working with all these other, from Dan Freeberg to Dawes Butler to
Mel Blanc,
all across the Mel Blanc. Yeah, I want to hear her. I want to hear her experiences there, not her freaking personal life. Right. Unless sometimes they come out with a personal life story that's humorous and enjoyable to share. Again, which we all do, and those are fun things. But I don't want to get into the crux of everything about your personal life, and Mr. Perry, one of them. Yes, there's always you got the curiosity. Why did he? What happened? Obviously, but other than that, don't just people shut up until everything comes down as definitive.
Yeah, and that's what T-Gap Steve is saying right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry. My apologies. I haven't really been looking at the chat. My apology. I'm a bad boy. I'm going to be talked to afterwards. And I know.
Reprimanded.
See me in my office after the show.
Yeah. Well, you're the big chief. I figure, I'll just follow your lead in that. What did we say?
It does go on to say here in the article, Perry went to rehab 15 times and had undergone 14 surgeries to try to mitigate the damage done to his stomach lining due to alcohol and opioid use.
Boy, jeez, wow,
Ooh,
that
I
could.
didn't know that.
That might have.
Yeah.
There we
Jeez.
go.
I'm no medical expert, but that might have played a part in what happened yesterday.
Well, yeah,
I don't know, but
Yep.
it seems likely.
It destroys your body. The abuse, when properly used, whether it's medication or some people like to imbibe socially, you might say certain things, but you get your oxycodone or whatever from the doctor and you follow it. It's like, okay, you do it right, and most likely it's not going to affect you. The moment you fall into that trap, well, you got the addiction. Not only do you have the addiction, you have what it does to your body.
Right.
I mean, just like look at someone who's been on meth, and you see a 26-year-old and she looks like she's about to turn 50.
Yeah.
And other stuff. Alcohol I know can do a horrible job with the stomach lining, and I don't know whether it's the stuff he was taking. I don't care. Again,
right.
I know he's talked about it. That's the only reason why I'm putting my 2 cents worth. But just knowing people who are alcoholics and such in my family and drug abusers in my family, I know it can really, really do a wallop on the body.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anything in excessive amounts can do serious damage.
Right.
You may not feel it right away, but you will definitely experience some side effect later on in life, including death.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be careful about how you treat your body. Just like, you got to go to the doctor and do stuff. You just sit around eating like fatty foods all day or stuff like you can do serious damage to your body for different reasons.
Yeah.
Take care of your back. That's what I got to say to people.
Yeah, just try to take care of yourself as best you can.
It's a shame. I mean, he's was a talented actor. I know he did the new Odd Couple, and kind of when
yeah, he did.
Oh, Frank Marshall died. Was it Frank? What was Creed? Was it Frank Marshall? Or is that Kennedy's husband? But when he passed away, right, was the Penny Marshall's brother. They had that
Gary Marshall.
Gary Marshall.
Gary, you're talking about Gary Marshall?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. They had that episode of The Odd Couple. I watched it because my daughter wanted to. It's like, okay, that's pretty good. It's not as good as the original. But it's got a thing. But it was a very touching thing that they had that episode, and him interacting with Penny Marshall. Mr. Sunshine was another show he tried doing, and only lasted like 9 episodes. And I could see that. I don't think that was that good of a show. That one, but I mean, he was out there. He was doing stuff. He was very talented. But he seemed to always have that same character he played. If
it works, I mean, he's had a little bit of different range, but yeah, yes,
yeah, he's had it, but if you're good at something, you might as well play upon it. And there's nothing wrong with that. If it works, keep up with it. It obviously worked for him.
And the article says here, the actor claimed that he almost died in 2018 due to gastrointestinal perforation. He spent 2 weeks in a coma and 5 months in the hospital. He also had to use a colostomy bag for 9 months.
Yeah.
The doctors told my family that I had a 2% chance to live. Perry stated during a promotional interview for his book last year, I was put on a thing called ECMO, an ECMO machine, which does all the breathing for you. And helps your heart and lungs. Let's see. And that's called a Hail Mary. No one survives that. Or, in some people's cases, they do survive, but they only live 6 months longer.
Right.
But you're grateful for those extra 6 months.
It's wow. I
Right.
didn't know that about Perry. That's crazy. It's a good
No, I didn't either.
reporting there, New York Post. I know
Mhm.
sometimes they have articles. I go, but other times, okay.
Well, they're hitting the who, what, where, when's, whys, and actually what
Exactly,
he's
as you should.
It wasn't.
As you
It's
should.
not hearsay. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
As you should. These are things that have happened. Stuff. This is not about
Right.
embarrassing the
They're
man. It's just the facts.
right.
It's the same with people
Mhm.
like Whitney Houston. That's why I thought it was so horrible that we're at the Grammys. I remember watching that. I think it was like the last Grammys I watched, and LL Cool J is sitting there and saying, "Oh well, excuse me, Brittany, yeah, Whitney Houston is they didn't mention her drug use at all, and it's like they don't have to, they really don't, but it's like
Mhm.
let's be honest with these people that she had some demons.
Mhm.
Robin Williams had some demons. Yes, he was a great talent.
Yep.
Just like Whitney Houston was obviously a really good singer. But once again, these people have demons. And I think it does us a disservice by not telling people the whole story about somebody. Especially if you're doing a biopic or whatever. Don't sugarcoat anything. Be honest with people. I think people would
Right.
appreciate that more about the person than sugarcoating things.
Well, and more importantly, if you're going to do it, don't have it all the doom and gloom and horrible stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just like anybody's life, there's ups and there's downs. And
That's
even
right.
people that have had horrible lives, there are still little rays, little sunshines of hopes and
Yes.
rays of kindness and
Yep.
happiness that were in people's lives. And that has to be addressed too. I mean, it's just
Right.
it completes the full what do you say, the full painting. The full painting. You work on a painting, you just don't want to focus on the mountains back. You got to do the happy little trees.
Exactly.
Get those happy little trees in there. And and then you start seeing a full picture of someone, and you see they are human beings.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
They're not people to be worshipped, but appreciated.
Yep. And the last thing it says in this article is last year Perry claimed he had spent close to $9 million getting sober over the years and finally triumphed. The star had been drug and alcohol free since May 2021. So 2 years drug and alcohol free as far as we know.
Yeah. And just think about 54 years old. How many of those years he was unfortunately abusing himself, according to even what he's saying. I'm not
right.
That doesn't again toll on the body, and it's a shame what happened. It's like you don't want to see that happen.
No,
it does mention. It does mention here real quick. Earlier this week, the star shared an eerie final photo to his Instagram account, which showed him in a jacuzzi. Oh, so warm, water swirling around, makes you feel good. I'm Matman, the actor captioned the photo. He was last pictured out in public by paparazzi in Los Angeles last Sunday when he was on his way to dinner with some friends. Let's see if it says anything else. Of course, his parents. I mean, no parent should ever outlive their children.
Right. No. Yeah, his father, an actor, and I think the episode of Scrub. He had directed Scrubs, and he was guest starred in that one. But I know he played a role opposite his father. I can't remember what show it was. His mother was Pierre Trudeau's, I think, script writer. Not script, but speech writer. Or she worked with the Pierre Trudeau, not Justin, Pierre Trudeau. With him, and he went back and forth between Canada and the United States. And his father, being an actor, he wanted to be an actor, which was a better decision than going to politics.
Exactly, Hunty. I agree.
Paparazzi.
I
Again,
agree with that eye roll. And the last thing it does say here is Perry rose to fame playing fan favorite Chandler on the
Yes.
iconic sitcom Friends. Yeah, Chandler Bing.
Yep.
Which ran from 1994 to 2004. He was
Mhm.
cast on the show at age 24, around the time his alcohol addiction started to manifest. Well, it's probably the
And he-
pressure of the shooting schedule. Think
Yeah.
about it.
And he
Being
was the youngest
24.
cast member.
Mhm.
He was
3
the youngest
years.
cast member.
Mhm. 3 years later, in 1997, the star was prescribed opioids following a jet ski accident, and he quickly became hooked on them.
Oh.
Not hard.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little bit more here. It says his addiction got so bad that he was later taking 55 Vicodin pills per day, and his weight plummeted to just 145 pounds.
How did his stomach not blow out sooner? Oh my
I don't know.
God.
I don't know. During the height of his Friends years, Perry was often in treatment. He did multiple stints in rehab during the decade he filmed the sitcom.
Yeah, he had unfortunately drug problems.
Yeah, I remember hearing stuff.
I think he also did cocaine at one point in his life too. Yeah.
There were years that I was sober during that time, Perry told People last year. Season 9 was the year that I was sober the whole way through. However, subsequently, stints of sobriety were short-lived, and the damage to his health was long-lasting. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. In recent years, Perry declared that he had finally triumphed over his addiction and was fighting fit. I'm a pretty healthy guy right now, he stated in an interview with People in November of last year. What I'm most surprised with is my resilience and the way I can bounce back from this torture and awfulness. Unfortunately, what he didn't know is maybe he had that resilience, but the long-term effects eventually caught up with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's
it gave him a couple years of life of enjoying it before finally coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perry was born in Massachusetts, but spent much of his childhood in Canada. His mother, Canadian journalist Susan Langford, and his father, American actor John Bennett Perry, separated before his first birthday. Perry's mother subsequently married Dateline journalist Keith Morrison in 1981. Perry grew up affluent in Ottawa, attending high school and with Justin Trudeau, who serves as Canada's current prime minister.
That's so crazy to me.
Dreaming of being an actor, Perry relocated to Los Angeles as a teen and began auditioning for roles in TV sitcoms and dramas. He had brief appearances in shows such as Growing Pains and Beverly Hills 90210
Yes.
before his big break came with his casting on Friends in 1994.
I think it was on Growing Pains. He had 3 episodes there, and he played the one girl's boyfriend that got killed in a drunk driver.
In addition to that iconic role, Perry also went on to appear in other acclaimed shows, including Aaron Sorkin's Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. He also starred in several films, including Fools Rush In 1997, The Whole Nine Yards in 2000, and 17 again in 2009. Perry never married and had no children, but he did have several headline-hitting romances. He dated Julia Roberts between 1995 and 1996, with the Pretty Woman icon even making a guest appearance on the second season of Friends. The star also romanced Mean Girls actress Lizzie Kaplan and was engaged to literary manager Molly Hurwitz before their split in June 2021. It's just sad, folks.
Yeah, it sucks. And I'm sure the drug use also caused relationship problems as well. But yeah, it's I'm sure that there's a possibility of that. I can't say for sure.
No.
Well, I mean, and some people, they just don't want to settle down. They enjoy,
right?
You know.
True.
And again, that was him. So it's like, we don't know what his desires, dreams were. Maybe he was starting to think now. Who knows? Again, that was his life. We don't know anything about it, so I'm not even gonna speculate, I guess, on that. Other than
We don't even need to know anything about it. It was his life, not ours.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, Friends, just like some other shows, they had a whole bunch of guest stars: Julia Roberts, Jean-Claude Van Damme, the
Tom
whole
Selleck.
Yeah, of course, Tom Selleck.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of him.
Clooney popped on, I think, because of the thing of on the medical show that he was on. ER, yeah. Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, which one, right?
Yeah, I mean George Clooney has
I think he was on at least 2 or something, and then of course George Clooney was.
He has a distinction on being on the 2 shows with the same name, even though the one had the periods after, and one was a comedy and one was a drama. So he's got that distinction of being on 2 shows, one drama, one comedy, and same name.
I mean, Bruce Willis popped on for a few episodes on Friends. It's crazy who's popped on that show. Guest starred. Yeah.
It's a who's who of names.
Right.
Yes.
Well, it's just like when Cheers brought in, even if it was just for small little cameos, big stars or known stars,
Yes, they did.
Yeah, you wanted to be there. You wanted to be part of something that was like that. And
Alex
I wasn't a
Trebek,
fan, but
when he was on with Cliff. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, the Cliff episode. Yeah. I thought you were talking about Friends there, but
Well, you mentioned Cheers, so I had to bring up
Cheers.
Alex
Cliff
Trebek.
Cleveland.
John Favreau.
John Ratzenberg.
John Favreau. He's still funny. He's like, you're tied up with this clown, Bozo the clown. What do you? In that Seinfeld episode, you're thinking of a clown from the 60s, man. It's great.
It is.
It's very tragic. If it's Cornell or any of these people, it's unfortunately very tragic. So
yeah, we got our 3, so let's hope it stops for a while. We got our 3 now.
Yeah. I've told Baron privately the one I don't want to have to report on Pop Talk because of what his voice especially meant to me as a kid. And of course, I think 3 of us can agree we don't want to report on another one or talk about it. We're lucky we still have him. And I know some people might be saying, well, which one is that? I play one of the clips whenever I refer to a game.
Okay.
I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain.
Yes, Mr. Shatner. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's had a solid career. Even better than George Takei, which is probably why George Takei is jealous of him. It's like, dude, well.
What career, George?
I know. Well, besides Star Trek. And he's been in some other stuff, too. He's done some voice acting, too. So.
Yeah, he's done voice acting. But, I mean, the Green Berets, which he just bitched and moaned about, being part of that one, is like...
I don't know about that.
Just George.
Auntie
George is just upset. Yeah, Auntie George is just upset because, he doesn't think he's taken serious enough. Between his telling everybody every 5 seconds that he was in his family were in the Japanese internment camps,
Well, I mean,
you know,
that's
making
not
sure we all
good, but
remember that.
you know, it's also war, and war's not pleasant. People
Mhm.
need to stop thinking it is, and so on. And the same people who want to talk about they were against war, they're certainly for it now. It's quite a turn, that's for sure. The hypocrisy of it all. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You heard
The
me,
only
you
good
too.
the only good war out there was pre-Disney Star Wars. That's the only good war.
Yes. That was a good cultural war. Good culture war for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely was. And gentlemen, we have reached the end of this afternoon's Pacific Forum for Pop Talk on both the YouTube and Rumble channels. But before we
Wow.
go, is there anything that either of you two gentlemen would like to promote?
Well,
Sanity.
yeah, sanity, right? I agree. Yeah, well, I guess a lot of people are having problems with YouTube lately, but I guess I'm still thinking about later tonight playing some more Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So still thinking about it.
Okay.
And
Anything
then next week, Dishonored. I'm gonna start Dishonored. I'm gonna actually finish that on stream. I've never finished the game ever, so
Awesome.
and of course next Friday, Broforce at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yep, on the Phantom Hooligans. It should be Booligans, I know, because
Hooligans.
No. Next Friday it's gonna be the Phantom Hooligans.
Yes.
It's always going to be Booligans to me. Oh, boys.
Yeah.
And what about you, Baron Orman Tagge?
I'm hanging out with you guys. I'll have more information probably on
right.
Wednesday, or maybe even by
more
Tuesday.
information from his sources. Ooh.
Yeah.
Very
Well, I
nice,
just have
very
to see how
nice.
things are going here personally here. So,
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And as far as what's going to be happening on Pacific Forum 4, well, you're not just getting one edition of Pop Talk this week. You're getting a grand total of 3 editions of Pop Talk on both the YouTube and Rumble sides. We will be back on Tuesday night with a Halloween night special starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And our guest will be Jason Fox of 540 Studio, along with Troy Pacelli, the guy at the end of the bar, and Netters Network. So that'll be a fun episode of Pop Talk to look forward to, talking about different horror movies and TV shows that happen to be Halloween themed or have certain themes like the Addams Family or the Munsters.
Are you trying to say that Troy Pacelli is our Cliff Cleveland?
I mean, I'm just quoting his slogan.
Okay,
the guy at the end of the
bar. Yeah. He's too skinny to be Norm, so he's got to be than Cliff.
Well, you'll have to ask Troy about that.
I'm Norm.
Yeah, I'm probably Sam. And Cash is Woody.
I don't know if I want to be Woody. Woody's a little too simple-minded for my taste, but he's a good character.
It fits you. It fits you.
I don't know about that. I don't think so.
Well, yeah. Woody never ran through the streets chasing somebody with a golf club. So you're right.
I didn't do that either, but sure. That's fake news. Yeah.
And then, of course, on Wednesday will be our standard Wednesday edition of Pacific Forum for Pop Talk. Not sure what topics we're going to be talking about yet, but we'll definitely have topics to talk about, most likely. And then, of course, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble channels.
Wow.
Cash and I will be back with some more River City Girls. Hopefully we don't have problems with the stream like we did last time, thanks to my cable company.
Yeah.
River City Girls, won't you come out tonight? Come out.
Not those kind of River City Girls, Baron.
Oh, okay. Guy country.
And Anonymous says he gets to be Diane. Well, okay, so you're gonna leave, and then we're gonna replace you, Rebecca.
Oh, Kirstie Alley. I miss her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we've lost so many people in the last year.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I know it happens, but when you sit back and you look at it and you look at all the names that we've lost, you know, it just reminds you none of us are promised tomorrow.
No. And the sad thing is these giants, and yeah, I'm going to call them giants. They really were.
Yeah.
But they're leaving us, and no one's able to fill their shoes. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some, but I mean, what's her name from Snow White to Rachel Zegler? Really, honestly,
That's
this
a
is what they're
great
trying to push on us.
Yeah, Frasier's a great show. I haven't watched the new Frasier stuff yet. I will though.
Oh, Frasier. Oh,
what I've heard.
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, dude, another giant. Yeah. Another TV legend.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, unless you gentlemen have one more thing you'd like to add, I'd like to thank everybody who watched us over on the YouTube and Rumble sides. First, starting with the YouTube side, we had our soap opera writer, or as I nicknamed him after River City Girls stream, Big Daddy T-Gap Steve. And of course, Jace will be with us on Tuesday during the Halloween night special edition of Pop Talk. Good to see you, Jace. And Kathy Skywalker was here. It's always nice to see you, Kathy. Same goes for Laserhawk Darren. Good to see you. Our resident jester of Pop Talk, Phil McCracken. Superfan Adam Shawhan was on both sides. And we also had Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000. Leia Rose. Anonymous. Anonymous. Horse Pops, always lurking.
Very good.
He scares
Hunty,
me.
Thank you very much. The Padawannabe. Thank you, brother.
Maybe it's Pops that's hiding under my bed.
Maybe.
It's not Pablo, though. Okay.
And I want to thank Maria with T and Telly for also stopping by. Really appreciate it. And for those who are on the Rumble side, we had Superfan Adam Shawhan. We also had Low Spec Linux Laptop, although as he's known on the Rumble side, Low Spec Linux Gaming. And we also have Jace of 540 Studios on the Rumble side. And to all of you who were lurking on the Rumble side or YouTube side, really appreciate it. And always remember, I'm not just a baseball guy, I'm an all-around guy. Take care, all.
Wow.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
All lies.
We'll be back. We'll be back Tuesday night to terrorize your evening. That's right.
That's the one.
We'll be back to terrorize all of your Halloween.